Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm Danny Donuts, and this is Poach, and welcome to our Kobolds and Catacombs card review. So a little bit about us. We're both writers for the Vicious Syndicate and the Tempo Storm meta snapshots. So before we get started, do you want to say anything, Poach, or should we just get right to it?
So a little bit more about us is like we both have hit legend or number one legend several times, and I think Danny, you're currently number one legend, unless someone has taken it from you in the past 2 hours.
No, I'm still number one right now, but 1 out of 1. I don't believe anyone else.
All right, so we have a current number one legend at our disposal. Let's get some use out of them.
Yep.
So I think the first card that we have.
Oh wait! Before we hop into before we hop into the cards, okay. Let's go over how we're gonna evaluate it, just so everyone gets a little bit of a heads up. So we're gonna go in for each card, and obviously we're evaluating for a wild perspective. So we're gonna be giving you a 3 scale, a thumbs up, middle thumb, or thumbs down, for each card that we give. And as we're giving our opinions in the wild format, there's some cards that we may just skim over because obviously the power level in standard and wild is drastically different. So if your favorite card is skipped over and you think it's good in standard, it's probably not good in wild.
Yeah. Also Popper, don't forget about them.
Yeah, oh, that's true as
well. There's some popper goodies in this.
There are some good ones, although there are some sleepers as well. Some commons that are relatively good in the neutral set.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to our first card, Barkskin. 1 mana, give a minion +3 health, gain 3 armor. Yeah. So, like I just said, yeah, sure. So, like I said before, there are some cards that we're going to skim over, and Barkskin is not one of is not one of the good cards of the set, unfortunately. For 1 mana, there's a lot more ways that you can spend that mana efficiently and gain armor.
Yes, I like 1 mana spells as much as the next guy, because you do have those miracle options. But if you're going to be playing like 1 mana spells, you're going to be playing Earthen Scales, you're not going to be playing Barkskin. This card is much closer to Iron Hide rather than Power Word Shield.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to call it thumbs down.
Sad day. But it's okay. Druid has some goodies in here.
Yeah, Druid has some really good
cards.
Like
the next card.
Yeah, Lesser Jasper Spellstone. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. And then you can upgrade it for 3 armor, and it becomes deal 4 damage, and then you upgrade it again for 3 armor, and it becomes deal 6 damage. So this is a Control Druid's dream. A card that can go and counter aggro early in the game. If you have to contest up against a aggro building up a board, that's great. And it's also something that you can play late game against the larger minions in some of those control mirrors that you're going to be facing as Druid.
Yes, we've almost seen this card before in Arcane Blasted Mage, where it was a 1 mana deal 2 damage to a minion, and then if you have spell damage, it'll go up incrementally, which is basically the same thing as this card. This card will deal 2 damage to a minion in the early game, which is totally acceptable, and then in the later stages of the game, it'll be doing deal 4 damage, deal 6 damage, and it's also in Druid, which needs that damage to minions because they're really bad at dealing with big minions at the moment.
Yeah, single target removal's not super good in Druid, and it also synergizes well with the Death Knight. If you draw this card late game and you have the Death Knight, yes, you can upgrade it every single time you use your hero power, which is nice. It's a little bit harder in the early game to get it upgraded because you're gonna have to use another type of armor gain spell or use your hero power 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But overall,
I give this card a thumbs up.
Overall, this is definitely a thumbs up.
Great.
Yep, on to the next card. the Greedy Sprite. 3 mana, 3/1, Death Rattle, gain an empty mana crystal. So instantly you compare this to Jade Blossom. For the same mana cost, it's also a ramp spell. And, I mean, when you do a direct comparison of the two, you will always want to have the immediate mana crystal, because your opponent's not going to be killing this straight off the bat. They're probably going to let this one live, and you're going to have to trade it in, so it's a delayed mana crystal. And you typically want to ramp so you can get into more ramp. So you typically Jade Blossom into Nourish, and that really doesn't happen with Greedy Sprite.
Yeah. But I think this does have a little bit of more potential in those Pilfered Powered kind of decks, where you do kind of want to have those zoo kind of minions out there. So it does have some potential over Jade Blossom. But I think the key for this card is really in Standard. When Jade Blossom rotates out, this will be your ramp option at the 3 slot.
Yeah, and another thing is sometimes you might want to just add in more ramp into Druid, which, I mean, Druid already does have enough ramp, but sometimes you can, I don't know, for consistency, if you add this in, maybe you can ramp more consistently. So that's also a thought as well. But overall, yeah. I'm going sideways on this one.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
So sideways, Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not great.
It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's there.
All right. So, next card we have
Tiger.
Astral Tiger, which is a 4 mana 3/5 with a Death Rattle. Shuffle a copy of this minion into your deck. So I think the easy thing to say is that 4 mana recruit deck for Druid, like if you really need to be putting that many four cost minions in your deck, like, do you really want to be playing this card?
Yeah, and well, one of the big things is that Blizzard's definitely pushing that archetype. So that's the archetype they want to see being played for Druid this expansion, or maybe for later expansions. But they're definitely giving us enough tools now. Personally, I'm not so sure about this card being one of the best 4-drops that you can play. And obviously, if you run into the situation where if this dies, you will continuously have the 4 cost minions. You will consistently have one in your deck to pull out. But at some point, you pull out enough 4 attack minions that it really doesn't matter. So I don't know. Yes. I'm a little bit iffy on this one.
So the thing is, the recruit mechanic is a mid-range mechanic, and this card is like a fatigue kind of card. So it's a control kind of card in a mid-range deck, which just doesn't work together. So for me, I'm just going to give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm around there as well. Thumbs down, maybe in the right situation. A little bit, right? Yeah. In the right situation, it comes up a little bit, but I think it's a thumbs down.
What's not a thumbs down card is Branching Paths.
Paths.
This is you, man.
Oh, yeah. So 4 mana, choose twice, draw a card, give your minions +1 attack, and gain 6 armor. So this card is just so flexible. You have so many options. This is an instant include in every single mid-range and every controlling Druid deck there is, because being able to draw cards when you need it's great. Being able to go and buff like a Spreading Plague board or heal out of range of aggro, that's just so great. And for 4 mana, all of those options are relatively good.
Yes. I think it's kind of clear to see that this card is really great in any deck with Spreading Plague. But I think that what's really interesting about this card is that it's actually potentially playable in Wild Token Druid, because it is a Savage Roar that stays along for a while. And it's not just that, but say you're against Pirate Warrior, and Pirate Warrior just kind of goes face for many times. You really just need that armor in some situation. Getting 12 armor is insane for that deck, because you will be winning in the long game no matter what. And even against control decks. So if you're against control, they're clearing all your minions. At some point, like you need your living mana to really survive, to really win the game. This card can dig for that. Like if at worst, it's draw 2 cards, which is insane. That's what you're getting with Jeeves for 4 mana. Sure, you get a 1/4 with it, but that's not that good. This card is really, really good.
Yeah, if we're considering putting it into one of the tightest lists in Wild, the Token Druid, like, this is a fantastic card. If we're considering that, this is just crazy. So,
this
automatic thumbs up. Yeah,
a thumbs up. This is like a higher thumb, like like double thumb.
Boom, double thumbs up, double thumbs up. There we go.
This card's insane.
This is a good one.
Next card.
Yep, so we got the Ironbark Golem, a 4 mana 3/6 taunt, and it can only attack if you have 3 or more armor. So again, this is going towards that recruit mechanic deck that's going in. It's like that mid-range style deck. I don't know. I feel that this is similar to Senjin's Shieldmaster, and +1 health is, I don't know. I'm not sure how often that 1 health matters, and obviously the health does matter, but in like an aggro matchup, you don't really care about it not attacking. So it's a Senjin's Shieldmaster plus, essentially. Yes.
And Senjin's Shieldmaster or Tazdingo isn't that bad of a card. Like, it was playable up until GVG. So this card, has a little bit of an upside. It is at the power level of almost being playable. I think in a lot of decks this will be potentially the 30th card, 35th card. It's around that range where you're considering the card. And I think this card's really cool for the Hadronox decks. Just in particular, just because it's a good 4 mana taunt minion. So for that particular deck, I like this card. I just wish it had a beast tag so much.
Yeah, that's the one sticking fact of it. That would be
if this
really
card
good.
had a beast tag, you could curve it into Menagerie Warden and just steamroll everyone. But no, they couldn't give it a beast tag. So close,
probably specifically because of that. It would be incredibly broken if that was the thing.
For sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm giving this one a thumbs down. But it's around.
I'm going to give it a slight notch up.
Yeah. So it's around.
It's not even just mid-range. Mid. It's like a little higher than that. So I like it. I understand why a lot of people don't, but it's expect that Hadronox deck to be beat out there. I'm telling you.
Should be interesting. Alrighty, next card.
But speaking of the recruit.
Yeah, speaking of that recruit deck.
Druid.
Yeah, 4 mana, game 6 armor, recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. So, yeah, you're running this card if you're playing that deck. It's as simple as that. But you also have some additional utility for this, where if you're playing like Ramp Druid, you could go and play the 3 attack minion, the 3 mana minion that gives you the mana crystal, and then use this to summon that out of your deck. Yeah, not Mire Keeper. Yeah, you can't run Mire Keeper with that.
Oh, the recent one, the Death Rattle?
Yeah, the new one, the new Death Rattle one. I actually don't know its name off the top of my head.
Greedy Sprite.
Yes, you can run this with Greedy Sprite and then pull that out of your deck, and essentially it's more consistency towards the ramp. So
it also thins your deck in the process.
Yeah. So it should be interesting. I'm going to mess around with that. But if you're playing this recruit deck, it's an auto-include in that deck.
Yeah, it belongs in that deck. We'll see exactly how strong that deck is. I kind of want to say it's almost there, so I'm giving it half.
Yeah, I'm around that point as well.
A medium.
Yep. Ready.
So it's all right.
On to the next
card. We have
Twig of the World Tree.
A Druid weapon. Take it.
Soup.
It's all yours.
All right, sure. 4 mana, 1/5, Death Rattle, gain 10 mana crystals. And so in the early game, this card actually helps you, because it helps you if decks are running weapon removal. Because if you get your weapon removed by an Ooze or Harrison Jones early game, where like turn 4 or turn 5, and you instantly ramp up to 10 mana, that's crazy. So it helps with that. And obviously weapon removal becomes better after turn 10, where they can just pop this and it doesn't matter. But the early game stopping your opponent from getting tempo by playing out their weapon removal cards, it will definitely be interesting in some sort of control druid.
Yes, and one of the bigger things about this card is it adds consistency to that Aviana Kun deck, because now you're running 2 Kuns. Sure, it has a little bit of setup to it, but you really do have that instant, like, okay, I'm doing this now. Also, you don't actually have to play it with Aviana, because in that deck you can't really play Kun without Aviana. But with this card, you're playing 20 mana per turn, so you can play UI and then activate this card or activate Death Rattle. You have 10 more mana crystals to use, so
just
go
dump
crazy.
That hand that you got, yeah.
I really like it a lot. I'm not really sure if it's going to be tier 1 viable, but I like it.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that you got to build around a little bit. You got to see how good it is and all of that, but it's definitely I find it a good card, and I'm definitely going to try it out a bunch.
All right, thumb rating.
Yep, I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Yes,
there we go.
I love it. It's not 2 thumbs up kind of quality, but
yeah, it's a 1 thumbs up. Yeah.
All right, next card we have Ixlid, Fungal Lord, which is a 5-mana 2/4 elemental with the text, after you play a minion, summon a copy of it. So I think the immediate replacement for this card is Faceless Manipulator. We do see Faceless Manipulator in a couple of decks, particularly Malygos decks. So we can get double Malygos even easier now.
Yeah, and it's also, you had mentioned this earlier, but it's a strict upgrade to Faceless Manipulator in that situation, because you get the 2/4 body as well. And if, let's say, your opponent clears the Malagai, plural of Malygos, Malagai,
yes.
But if you clear those minions, you still have to get rid of this one as well. So it has the potential to snowball a little bit stronger than Faceless Manipulator.
Also, one thing I really want to point out: so Combo Druid is back with this card. So you play Ixlid, you play Stone Tuskboar, Savage Roar. That's 4 plus 10, I think.
14.
It's 14, I think. Is it? Maybe it's 16.
What is it? It's 3 for each boar, so that's 12 plus 2 is 14.
Okay, so it's 14. We have Combo Druid back. Sure, it's 10 mana and not 9 mana, but still the same thing. It's 14 mana out of hand. Boom, slam dunk.
It's
Easy.
four cards as opposed to 2, though. You had those extra 2 cards. Yeah,
we have UI now, okay?
Yeah, hey, it's true.
So, this card has more potential than it leads on. All right, thumb rating for you?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with a thumbs up, but like a thumbs up halfway down.
Okay, so I was going to do like a third,
yeah,
3/4 quarters
that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. It's not a direct thumbs up, but it's like almost there. Yeah.
Yeah, like wait 3 more expansions, and it'll be crazy.
Well, the game's gonna be completely different in 3 expansions, so.
Yeah, it's a keepable card.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, most certainly. Alrighty, next card, Grizzled Guardian. Man, they really are pushing this Recruit Druid deck. So it's an 8-mana 3/5 beast, and it's taunt, and it has the Death Rattle. Recruit 2 minions that cost 4 or less. Yeah, so it just falls into that niche deck, essentially.
Yes. I think one important thing about this card is that it has taunt and Death Rattle for your N'Zoth and for Hadronox. So you can be seeing that Hadronox deck, that Hadronox Recruit Druid deck that is kind of all over the place, but this card belongs. I love it.
Yep, in that deck it does belong. I'm not
really sure if you play 2 of the card, because playing N'Zoth at 10, Hadronox on 9, and 2 8 costs is kind of tough, but there's been crazier things. I'm gonna say you only play 1 of this card, but it's got some real potential.
I'm not super impressed by it, but if that deck does become a thing, it like you said, it's going to be a one of in that deck.
Yeah.
So what's your thumb rating on this one?
It's tier 5 or it's tier 3?
Exactly, yeah. So what's your thumb rating on this? Where are you at?
I'm going to give it a sideways thumb. Like, it's not even that great in that deck. It's not the meat that's holding it together. It's not like, yes, it is part of that recruit package from Druid, but this isn't the reason why you play that deck. It's Hadronox for the most part. So
I'm gonna have to go a little.
You don't
bit
even
lower
play 2
than,
of this card.
I'm gonna have to go a little bit lower than halfway. It's like halfway. It's a little bit less. I don't really have too much confidence in that recruit deck.
I give it a solid halfway.
Yeah, I'm a little bit droopy on that halfway, but it still has some potential.
But overall, Druid got some good stuff in this expansion. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
I expect to continue to see Druid on ladder. Yep. Both combo, mid range, Jades, tokens.
Yeah,
they've got some juicy ones here. So
Druid will be there.
Overall, Druid's is in a good space after is it KNC or is it KAC? Kobolds and Catacombs.
It's just KFC.
Okay. After KFC, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Druid.
Let's move on to Hunter. Ooh. So we have the 1 mana weapon, Candle Shot, which is a 1 attack and 3 durability, and it's immune while attacking. Now I am
love this card.
Yeah, I am very excited by this card because I loved playing Face Hunter in the early days of Hearthstone, and this is the card that Face Hunter needs. Because you can now run the pirate package with more pirates. Normally if you were running the pirate package at all, you had to run the Corsairs, but now you can run the South Sea Deckhand with this, because you can play this as an early turn 1 play, and then you can play the 2 attack 1 mana charge pirate. So that just brings Hunter's early game up consistently. And one of the big things about Hunter is early board control, because that's what you're doing with Face Hunter. You control the board for 2 to 3 turns, and then you just pile all the rest of your stuff face. So this helps with that out a lot.
Yeah, I think you're kind of crazy for liking this card that much. I do think it is very much a Light's Justice. Sure, Light's Justice is halfway decent in Hunter, just because you're not playing for the late game, because Hunter is an aggro deck rather than Paladin, where you can't really just go face all the time. But it's not that good.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's actually really good.
All right. I mean, I'll do my thumb rating.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is that this takes like Face Hunter from a tier 3.5, tier 4 deck up into being a playable deck. Like, you will see Face Hunter because of this now.
I think you see Face Hunter, but not for this reason. Anyway, I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Oh, I'm thumbs up on that. I'm the opposite direction on this one. Alrighty.
But I mean, I'm not the Hunter expert. I know that you were the Hunter expert at some point, so
yeah. I think I still am the Hunter expert. So
yeah, so you know your craft a little more than I do.
All right, let's move on to the next card, Wandering Monster, 2 mana secret. So when your enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3 cost minion as the new target. So it's an interesting one. It's comparable to Bear Trap, which the effect differs slightly. Whereas when with Bear Trap, you hit the face and then the minion is spawned, and in this one, the minion essentially intercepts the attacker.
Yeah. I still think that Bear Trap is going to overtake this card, because Hunter is all about that tempo game, and they really want their minions to stay on board. For Hunter, they're not going to be this control deck. I understand that there's the spells Hunter deck, but I don't think that's really going to be a thing.
Yeah, that's probably not.
This card does fit better in a control deck over a tempo deck compared to Bear Trap. The thing is, you can play 2 Bear Traps and a Wandering Monster. No one's preventing you from doing that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. If you run 1 of each or 2 of one and 1 of the other, that actually provides some interesting counterplay to your opponent, right? Is he playing? Yeah. Which one is he playing? Will he attack with the big minion first or the smaller one if he has a situation like that on board? So it's definitely adds a little bit more diversity to the Hunter class.
Especially in Wild, where we're queuing into the same opponent multiple times. Having this variety of secrets is really advantageous because your opponent's not exactly gonna think that, oh, it's gonna be this secret because I saw it last game, and then nope, it ends up being a different card. So it's interesting, but I'm gonna give it like a slight notch up from down at the bottom for my.
Yep, and I'm going from thumbs at the middle down a little bit, so we both end up at the same spot, but
yes.
Yeah.
Just how we got there.
Just how we approach there is a little bit different.
You're a half full kind of guy, and I'm a half empty kind of guy. Anyway, next card, we have a Cave Hydra, a 3-mana 2/4 beast with the text, also damages the minions next to whomever this attacks. This card is great. I love this card. This card's amazing. So, in essence, you drop this card, and then if it survives for a turn, which admittedly you have to have that, but it does have 4 health for a 3 mana minion, so it's got a pretty good shot of staying alive. This is just a power shot, and the thing is, it's an upgrade from a power shot because you have a minion on board. You get the choice of whether or not you hit phase, whether you hit the minions, and you can buff it with Houndmaster. This card has got a lot going for it. However, it is in Hunter, which notably has a lot of good 3-drops.
Yeah, it's the most diverse. That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it's the most diverse 3-drop class, so you really have to consider: are you playing this or Bear Shark? So in my mind, I think that you go and it's teched off of what matchups you're seeing more. So if you're seeing more Token Druid, you play this because it helps you control the board more. But if you're playing against more Reno Priest, then you go in and you play, like I said, Bear Shark.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So it's at that echelon of card where it's competing with Animal Companion, it's competing with Bear Shark. This card is good.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Especially for a card compared in the Wild set, to be good enough to get to that level, like that shows that it's a good card.
Yes. So I'm going to give an enthusiastic thumbs up for this card.
I will mirror that as well.
Nice. Great card. Great card.
And our next card is 4-mana Flanking Strike. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Summon a 3/3 wolf.
So I think the most obvious mirroring is to Fireplume's Phoenix. So Fireplume's Phoenix is a 4-mana 3/3 elemental with the battle cry of deal 2 damage. So this is kind of almost a strict upgrade because it does 3 damage and it's a beast. And the beast tag kind of matters more than the elemental tag. And we did see Fireplume's Phoenix play some competitive play in Standard as well as Wild. But it was more for the elemental tag. And this has a beast tag, so in Hunter that's pretty good.
It has the similar synergy, and the other thing is of it being a spell. So in that situation where you want to play something with like a joust or some other mechanic where it's a minion versus a spell, or this spell hunter that eventually will come to fruition 3 years from now. But essentially, having this as a spell is better than being a minion in certain circumstances, and you can synergize around that.
As well as just having options for good cards is always a pleasantry. Yeah. So like in Reno Hunter, where you can't play just the best cards, you have to play some of the slightly worse cards. It's a good card. So for me, I'm going to give it a thumb rating of meh.
Yeah, I'm at the same level. You gotta go right around the middle. You'll see play, but it's not something I'm excited to put in my deck. something that I am excited to put in my deck is the Hunter Spellstone. So Lesser Emerald Spellstone, 5 mana, summon 2 3/3 wolves, and you upgrade by playing a secret, and then it becomes 3 wolves and then 4 wolves in its final form. So about this this Spellstone, I feel it's one of the Spellstones that when you play it off of the top of the deck, I'm not super disappointed if I have to play a 5 mana summon 2 3/3s, and then being able to upgrade it and get it to a point where the 3 wolves and the 4 wolves is just broken. So I feel that this is a really powerful card.
Also, you can just play it on turn 5. Like, it's one of the few spellstones that you can curve into it, because you're playing your Cloaked Huntress on 3, you play 2 secrets, and then you coin this out on 4. You have 4 3/3 wolves. Like, what are they gonna do? And you also have all the
and you have the secrets out, too. So
it's got a lot of going for it. Obviously, that's kind of a high rolly thing, but even that baseline, it's a 5 mana 6/6. That's not bad. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna give this. So for my thumb rating, I'm gonna give like slightly below full thumbs up. Like, it's not that enthusiastic.
I'm going full thumbs up. I have hope for this card.
Full thumbs up. That's fair. Up. That's fair. It's a good card.
Yeah. Another good card is the 6 mana 5/4 Seeping Oozling, which has the unique battle cry of gain the death rattle of a random minion in your deck. So the ability to put this in your deck and just choose what death rattles you put in there and construct your deck based around that makes this incredibly powerful. You put a card like Sylvanas Windrunner in the deck, you can it'll allow this to gain incredible battle cries, or incredible death rattles rather.
Yeah, there are some really good death rattles out there. So even at like the baseline of, say, Savannah Highmane, or even one of the 8, like, this is basically another Savannah Highmane. Like, sure, it has -1/-1, but like, Savannah Highmane is a legendary creature that you're able to play 2 of. Now you can play 4 Savannah Highmanes in your deck. Boom, easy peasy. Hunter is the only class that can play 4 of the same legendary minion. This is hype.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go thumbs up on this one.
Oh, I'm gonna same for the last one. Slight downturn from full enthusiastic up. Just because it's a Hunter card. If it was any other class, I just don't believe in Hunter having the death rattle stuff going. But you know, Reno Jackson, the player, really likes that death rattle Hunter, and he'll have.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that out and see what he puts out.
Another card we're happy to try out.
Yes.
To my side with an exclamation point. I love those exclamation points. It's a 6 mana spell that reads, summon an animal companion, or 2 if your deck has no minion. So obviously you do want this condition to be met if you're ever going to be playing this deck, or this card. But you know, if you're going to be playing that deck, you do instantly play this card. It's not the craziest card in the world, but you play it.
It's also easier to play a spell-based deck in Wild than it is in Standard, because you have so many more spells available to you. And then you have, like, the lock-in load. And I mean, I remember playing many, many games of Yogg Load. So, and that deck was, or I'll admit it, it was a bad...
28 spells and Yogg-Saron.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. And then you occasionally threw in a Malagos as well. But if you make a deck that's based around that, you can you have the ability to do that in Wilds, but the question is, do you ever have the strength to do that? And how do you how do you design that deck too? That's one of the things that we were talking about earlier. Do you go with the combo priest existing? You can't make it a really control-y style deck because you have the fear that you're going to get burned down by Raza Anduin. So you're going to have to make it a little bit more on the aggressive side. And this is one of the cards that you probably would want to play in an aggressive version of the spell.
It's certainly more aggressive than Call of the Wild. So it comes out 3 turns earlier than that. So
yeah,
you know, it's got some potential.
Yep.
All right. So for my thumb rating, I'm going to give it a more enthusiastic meh than I think most people would be expecting.
I'm on the droopy side of meh.
Okay, that's fair.
Alrighty, so Crushing Walls.
Speaking of
mana, yeah. 7 mana, destroy your opponent's left and rightmost minions. So, the biggest thing about this card is that now when you play against Hunter, you care about positioning. Whereas...
Do you? Do you really?
No, you don't. But in case you get something off some randomly generated spell...
Okay.
Which can happen in Hunter now, especially looking at some of the upcoming cards. You can get some random spells. So in certain circumstances, it's optimal to play around this.
For sure. But I don't think you'll ever be playing this in your deck.
No.
But it is a card. So if you're getting random spells, be on the lookout for this because it might just crush you.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
All right, Spells Hunter. How do you pronounce this card? Okay, Rockdalar is a 7 mana weapon, legendary weapon for Hunter, 4 attack, 2 durability with the battle cry. If your deck has no minions, fill your hand with Hunter spells. So you can get Crushing Walls with this. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I'm not too excited about this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean. The Spells Hunter deck, I'm not even sure if this card is good enough in that deck.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
As we mentioned, is supposed to be somewhat aggressive. This is 7 mana weapon that draws you cards. Who cares?
Yeah, I'd rather be playing the 1 mana weapon.
Yeah, same. And I gave that a somewhat enthusiastic down. So I'm gonna give this.
This is a pretty big
significantly down.
Yep. All right, so on to the other Hunter legendary, Katharina Winterwisp. So it's an 8 mana 6/6 and Battlecry and Death Rattle recruit a beast.
I always love when they have both Battlecry and Death Rattle. We have that with Aya, Toshli. Like I just love that. That's a thing.
That mirror effect, yeah.
And this is actually really good as well because you can get your King Crush and
Charge
other kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's decent. The problem is that it's in Hunter, and Hunter doesn't have the tools to really get to that end game.
To be fair though, when Reno Jackson, the player, played his Death Rattle Hunter, he was playing Lich King as top end, and I feel that this slots into that deck incredibly easily. So
for sure.
I think that you actually, especially in Wild, this card has much more potential than it does in Standard.
Yes.
So I'm also the glasses half full type of guy. So I see some optimism, and I actually like this card a little bit.
It's a good card. The problem is it's in Hunter, but Hunter might actually get some good stuff later down the line. We don't know what's going to happen next expansion, 3 expansions from now. 6 expansions from now. This card is there forever. So you always be on the lookout whenever you see a big beast in Hunter or just anywhere.
Or something that cheat cards out. That's one of the things as well. You cheat a card out and get this on there. Even just the Death Rattle. If you cheat this out there, turn 3, turn 4, summoning a Death Rattle, just having the Death Rattle go off and getting a beast is pretty good.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna give it a unenthusiastic meh.
Yeah, I'll be there, maybe a little bit higher, but right around that point as well.
Yeah, you're more enthusiastic than I am about this card, but it is a long-term card rather than immediate payoff for right now.
Yep. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next class, which is Mage.
Ooh. Mage got a lot of good stuff this expansion, but
yeah, Mage is going to be interesting. I'm excited to try out Reno Mage.
Mm-hmm.
Reno Mage is going to be a lot of fun.
Their first card is not so exciting.
Yeah.
It's Shifting Scroll, which is a spell that says Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a random mage spell. So it's Shifter Xeris except spell form.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Quick question for you: do you know what its cost is if it's pulled in some sort of joust?
I assume 1 mana, but
okay,
we'll see.
Yeah, because it's better if it's obviously it's better if it's higher when it gets pulled in a joust type of thing, and we have some of those effects coming up later on. So I think that's semi-relevant in how you evaluate the card.
Yeah, if it comes up and it actually ends up being like a 0-cost spell, that would be really random.
That'd be weird.
Maybe it's 5-cost.
Maybe it's just like Infinity and it beats every other card.
Right? So we'll see something later on, but if you pull Dragon's Fury with this card, or if Dragon's Fury pulls this card and it's like infinite mana, you just clear the board no matter what they have. Boom, easy. GG.
There you go. But otherwise, how good is a random mage spell? I mean, you do get to have it sit in your hand for a good amount of time, right? Where Shifter Xeris is the situation where maybe one of the time I feel it's exactly like Shifter Xeris, where one time you'll find the super awesome position where the card is exactly what you need, but otherwise there's so much randomness with it that I don't think it's consistent enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it enthusiastic no.
Yep, I am there as well.
Thumbs all around.
Thumbs down all around.
Next card is a 1-mana 1/2 elemental arcane artificer. Artificer. Okay, that one. And then with the text, whenever you cast a spell, gain armor equal to its cost. So yeah. That's a card.
Yeah. So what I feel they're pushing in standard is big spell mage, where you play a bunch of big spells, and this goes into that deck. And I feel that they're really starting to build that up because they're thinking about rotating Ice Block to the Hall of Fame. So when you rotate the Ice Block to the Hall of Fame, in order to keep control decks to be able to have a control mage style deck, you need to be able to stop yourself from dying. So I feel this is just a preemptive put in for when they do go to get rid of Ice Block. But seeing as we're going to have Ice Block forever because we are the wild format, I don't really see this specifically slotting into anything at the moment.
It's a standard card because they don't have Reno Jackson, so it's a enthusiastic down for me.
I'm there as well.
I'd want to rate it a little bit higher because it does have some good stuff going for it, but it's just so weak. Yeah. Anyway, we got Raven Familiar. 2-mana 2/2 beast with the battle cry, reveal a spell in each deck. If yours costs more, draw it. So it's got the joust mechanic, however, it's for spells. And then you draw that spell if you win.
This is a pretty interesting card, especially in Reno Mage, where if you build Reno Mage where you just cut some of the early game spells, like Arcane Intellect, because you have this card to draw some cards. Like Arcane Intellect can be substituted by additional card draw with this. You can make it so that that Reno Mage has just high cost spells in the deck.
Yeah.
Which I think this is where you want to. That's really where I want to put this card.
Also, considering it's a beast for Curator, you can have these Reno decks with the beast in it now for Mage. So it's good.
Yeah,
it's questionably good, but it's all right. I'm gonna give it a meh.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it at the same spot, maybe a little bit higher, but yeah.
Yeah, it's better than I thought it was at first.
Sure. All right, for the next one, the Lesser Ruby Spellstone. So it's the Mage Spellstone. You add a random Mage spell to your hand, and you upgrade it by playing 2 elementals. And then you add 2 mage spells and then 3 mage spells to your hand. So I am thoroughly unimpressed by this card because playing 2 elementals is relatively difficult. And if you get this as a top deck, just essentially paying 2 mana for a random mage spell, that's not something that I want to see.
Yeah, I think this card is much more enthusiastic in Standard, where you don't have proper tempo mage decks, where you don't have Flamewaker, you don't have... I mean, you do have Secret Mage, but that kind of mid-rangey deck has more potential in Standard. But for Wild, it doesn't really have much going for it, because you'll just be run over by everything else.
Yep. So thumbs down on this one for me.
Enthusiastic down. It's a good card, but
but it's not good enough. It doesn't break the Wild meta game.
Speaking of breaking the Wild meta game,
yes.
Explosive Runes is a mage secret for 3 mana. So it's a secret. When your opponent plays a minion, deal 6 damage to it. All remaining damage to your opponent. That's good.
Yeah, it is really good. And it also adds to the counterplay, like we were saying with Hunter secrets, where you had the two secrets that really counter each other. So this one in Mirror Entity or Frozen Clone, when you try to play around those secrets, you play a small minion down, maybe something with 1 health, 2 health. So this will kill that minion if they're trying to play around Mirror Entity. And then later on, if you're playing a tempo style mage deck, you're going to try to burn them out at the end of the game. So any residual damage that will go and hit them in the face is very good. So now this really makes secrets secret. So it's like, okay, if you figure out that the opponent hasn't played Counterspell, you still don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is, like, you know, Mirror Entity is the secret that you play in Tempo Mage. And now you have a direct opposite to it that you do also play in Tempo Mage. They have these 2 direct opposites. You just can't deal with them either way. So with Mad Scientist, this card's just nuts in every type of Tempo Mage. You have like aggro, burn, freeze mage. You have Flamewaker mage. You have that secret mage. Any of those, you play this card because Mad Scientist is insane.
Yep. All right, thumb rating. Thumbs up.
Enthusiastic up.
Yep.
Actually, no. I'm gonna double.
You're double thumbs up on that. Okay.
Double thumbs up.
I'm sticking.
Quality card.
I'm sticking with 1, but I maybe 1.5.
Yeah, you understand my enthusiasm, but you're not quite there.
Exactly. All right. Next card, Leyline Manipulator. So 4 mana, 4/5 battle cry. If you're holding any cards that didn't start in your hand, reduce their cost by 2. So there is the effect in the one thing, obviously, is you're thinking if you're playing some sort of standard quest mage, this is essentially what it's a replacement for. And you have the combo of, if you use Simulacrum, you can discount Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then you have the OTK combo. So essentially you can play OTK in standard now without the quest. But we have a more consistent version of that, where you can play Emperor Thaurissan. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think that this is going to see any play in Wild because you have a strictly better combo.
But I think at least in Standard, this card is going to be better in Quest Mage.
Oh yeah,
or not Quest Mage anymore, but Exodia Mage. And they'll figure out why Quest Mage in Wild is just proper Exodia Mage. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a good card, and especially in that Lesser Ruby Spellstone deck that we gave an enthusiastic no to. That is also, this is a great card in that deck as well. But we just don't see it in Wild. But
yeah, we won't see this card in Wild. I have to give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, it's a good card.
It is a very good card, but
it's a very good card.
We just have strictly better options, and it's so disappointing. But I when I play Standard, I'm going to play this card.
Yeah. All right, Deck of Wonders. 5-mana spell. Shuffle 5 scrolls into your deck. When drawn, cast a random spell. Is this anything other than hot garbage?
No, this is hot garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's the big spells mage deck thing.
Yeah, it's for those people that put Yogg in every single one of their decks. That's what this is. The Deck of Wonders is for Mr. Yogg.
So the first thing that you do when you get to Legend is you play the Deck of Wonders deck, and you have fun.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
I'll stream it.
Yeah, should be fun. All right, on to a more viable 5-cost mage spell. Dragon's Fury. Reveal a spell from your deck. Deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. So this is really good in most mage variants. Like I said earlier, you're going to start trying to wean yourself off of the low-costing spells for mage, and so that would result in this being just a full board clear very consistently. Like, if you just deal, honestly, this is an upgrade to Flame Strike on most times, because the spells are most likely going to be really high compared to that. So this is, I mean, it does deal damage to your minions as well, so that has that downside, but a lot of the times, if you're trying to clear the board in Mage, you don't care if your side of the board takes damage.
Yeah, you're especially really in Reno Mage, because Reno Mage is a fatigue deck, or it's a control fatigue deck. Yeah. You're just trying to clear everything and outdo your opponent, because you have Ice Block. And this card is a great card. Also, the flavor of this card, I love it, because it's like that no-touch candle kind of thing. Like, the bigger spell that you touch, the dragon just gets more and more furious. Like, you touch like a arcane blast with it, he's like, meh, I'll just kind of whiff you away, right, with one AoE. But if you're touching like Flame Strike, he's like, no, I don't want you to touch my Flame Strike, or so he just wipes everything away. It's the flavor up the wazoo.
That's pretty cool. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, I spend a little bit too much time looking at this card because it's such a beautiful card. Anyway, I'm giving this an enthusiastic thumbs up.
Oh, yes, back to that. Yes, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I might even go with 2 thumbs up on this one. This is going to be... I think I go 2 thumbs up on this one.
Okay.
This is going to be very good. That this is an auto.
The fact they have to get rid of your Frostbolt for this card makes it
Frostbolt is the one card... Frostbolt is the one thing that you need to cut, but I've already accepted that I'm losing Frostbolt from Mage, so that's all good. It's all good.
All right. Enthusiastic 2 thumbs up from Danny. Yep. Anyway.
So our legendary weapon for Mage, 6 mana 0/2, a Lunith. At the end of your turn, draw 3 cards. Now this is a crazy effect because you get it off. The effect happens at the end of your turn, so you're guaranteed 3 card draws. So Nourish 5 mana is draw 3 cards. And this is just 1 mana more, and you have the potential to continue drawing 3 cards every single turn. So this creates a whole new archetype of Mage, one where you play a lot of burn, and you literally just want to keep chucking spells out every single turn, or play little small minions. So I feel this, you could make some sort of like aggro deck and have this as, not an aggro, but like an aggro burn deck, and then put this in as your top end.
Yeah, we were talking about that deck along with explosive runes as well, because you're just trying to just keep doing damage to their face. And not just that deck, but pretty much any aggro deck, like even Tempo Mage with Flamewaker, it's probably going to be wanting this card just because at 7 you just want to start going face. So this will allow you to get all of your cards that you need.
It reminds me of that Hemet Mage that was around for a little bit, where you played Hemet, and then you were only left with your high-cost burn spells like Fireball, the Firelind's Portal, and Pyroblast. So it reminds me of something like that. But I think that you can build around this a little bit more than Hemet. So it should be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs up as well. Yeah, should make a pretty fun deck. Alrighty.
Something that's not quite as thumbs uppy.
Yeah, the Dragon Caller Alana. Battlecry, 9 mana 3/3. Battlecry, summon 5/5 dragons for each spell that you have cast this game that cost 5 or more. So the main issue that I see with this in Mage is that your 9-cost spells, or your 9-cost spells, your 9-cost cards in Mage really have to do something that either stops you from dying or will set the game over, and you'll finish the game because of it. And getting a big board of dragons isn't necessarily something that can win the game, whereas something like Frostlich's Jaina that's competing in this spot for the card, or Alex Straza, is just so much more potent.
Yeah, if you even played like N'Zoth over this card, you're not going to be playing big mage or big spells mage. You're not going to be playing this card.
Not in Wild. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
Yeah. I just want to see the entrance of this card, though. That would be fun.
Yeah, it should be interesting. All right, moving right along to Paladin.
Drygulch Jailer. It's a 2-mana 1/1 with the text Death Rattle. Add 3 Silverhand Recruits to your hand. So Silverhand Recruit decks, or Dude Paladin, is a deck in Wild. So is this a good enough card in that deck?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I don't think it's good enough, but I think it does have other uses in Wild. You have the hand buff deck, and if you play this and then get 3 1/1 guys and you just buff the crap out of them, like, you can always have things in your hand to buff, which is one of the issues with hand buff Paladin.
Yes.
So I feel that you play this in hand buff Paladin, but you don't necessarily play this in Recruits Paladin.
It's very similar to Firefly in a way. However, it does cost 2 mana, but you do get a little bit minions in your deck or in your hand. Like, a lot of Silverhand Recruits are good. You don't have to play in exclusively Recruit Paladin. You can play them in that Dude Paladin and still have the Silverhand Recruit tag actually be useful.
Yep. Alrighty,
so
what's your thumbs
I'm gonna give it a thumbs down, though.
I'm also in the thumb down camp.
Like, I like the card, but we'll see.
All right, Potion of Heroism.
All right, I got this one.
All right.
All right, so Potion of Heroism, 2-mana spell, give a minion Divine Shield, draw a card. So I'm pretty famous because I played Quest Paladin to Legend. I like this card a lot in that deck. Like, I like this card way too much. It's a spell that you play it and then you draw a card. You get another spell from this spell. You're getting your Galvadon off super early. So instead of turn 6, you're getting Galvadon off. Now you can get it off on turn 5. This is great. I love it.
And one of the best things too is with Paladin, you draw the card on that turn. Whereas like Blessing of Wisdom, you have to typically wait. You most of the time you're going to be waiting a turn if you play that. Whereas this is the instant card draw. So yes. I like that a little bit better.
And the Divine Shield is actually relevant as well, so because it allows your minions to stay alive a lot longer. Your what is the card? The Bane Sisters. You can put this on your Bane Sister to make her survive longer.
The Banes, yeah.
Like, the Divine Shield actually matters. You're drawing a card in that particular deck. It's quality. Not really sure how much it plays outside of that. But I'm going to give it an enthusiastic thumbs up just because I love Galvadon decks.
I'm going to have to give it a meh because, okay. I mean, I have played Quest Paladin. I really like the mech version of it where you just play really hyper fast. And that definitely fits into the deck. But, I mean, I don't... No, yeah, I don't feel that deck's going to be good, but it's there. It's definitely...
I love the card for that deck.
It builds towards that.
Yeah. Anyway, Benevolent Djinn is a 3-mana 2/4 elemental with the text at the end of your turn, restore 3 health to your hero. So it's a mini rag or mini rag lightlord. So live insect.
But it's lived smaller insect.
Yeah.
So I mean, the one thing about Paladin is that a lot of the times you're not necessarily concerned in the aggro matchups about your health. You're mostly concerned in those matchups about playing for the board. And if you lose the board, you lose the game. So, whereas once you've won the board, then you can heal afterwards. But I feel that a lot of the times in Paladin, especially like the mid-range version, you're not going to want to play this, even if there's a lot of aggro. You just want to put in more like board-centric stuff.
Yeah, I think the one place that might have a place is in slower variants of mid-range, like anything mid-range, where you are slightly concerned about your health going into the end game. But you're not going to be playing this in control because there's so many good healing spells in Paladin that you really don't actually care about this. But in specifically mid-range anything, maybe has some potential, just something slower than mid-range, but also faster than control, where you actually care about a minion like this.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna give it a slight upturn from down, but
I'm midway down, but yeah.
Okay, so I you're half full, I'm half empty.
Yeah, same place. All right, so the Lesser Pearl Spellstone. 2 mana, summon a 2/2 spirit with taunt, restore 3 health to upgrade to a 4/4 with taunt, and then upgrade to a 6/6. A 6/6 is the final form.
Yeah.
I don't know. This just isn't. It might be a good card. It just does. I'm not too excited about it, to be honest. It's just there.
I think I'd almost be more excited if it made multiple spirits. So it started off with 1 2/2 spirit, and then 2 2/2 spirits, and then 3 2/2 spirits. Yeah. Obviously, this does go along with the Jhin that we just talked about, but it's so weak. I guess it is one of the few that are exactly parallel to what you would play on 2 mana. There is a 2 mana 2/2 taunt out there. So it's just a pure upgrade from that, but
yeah, that's about it.
You're not going to be healing yourself for that much because if you're you can't control how much you heal.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. You have to also take damage, right? You're at 30 health, and you play something that heals you. You play the Jhin. You're not going to be able to gain the health at that point, so you have to actually be damaged, which is pretty difficult as well.
All right, so I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
That is a fat thumbs down.
All right.
Unidentified Maul. This is an interesting card. So it gains a bonus effect when it's in your hand, and those effects are the blessed. Yeah, I got them here. So I have give your minions +1 attack, summon the 2 Silverhand recruits, give your minions Divine Shields, and give your minions Taunt. So the taunt is not the one that you want on your minions, typically. Typically, you're not going to want to have the taunt. Divine Shield is typically pretty good. But you have to have a board to have that one to be effectful. So if you just play this on turn 3, nothing on board, and you get the Divine Shield one, that's not good.
So we already have plenty of good 3-drop weapons in Paladin. So we have Muster for Battle.
Muster for Battle.
We have Cog Hammer. We have the Divine Shield one. Forgot the name, but Danny knows it. Maybe he doesn't.
No, I don't know which one you're talking about, unfortunately.
The 3 mana 3/2 that gives +1 attack to Divine Shield minions.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, so we have 3 really good weapons at 3 mana already in Paladin, and this doesn't meet up to any of them.
Yeah,
I think that's just like a weaker version.
Much it.
Of each
yeah,
one.
I don't think we really need to discuss it that much. I feel that you pretty much summed that up there. The other ones are just...
It's a weaker version of what we already have, so don't play it.
Yep.
So, thumbs down. Sad day.
Yep. Call to Arms. Recruit 3 minions that cost 2 or less.
This is a spicy one.
This is interesting because I don't immediately slot this into any deck. That's one of the things I really like about cards. When I don't know what to do with it, it definitely has there's some niche use that I'm excited that someone else will find out, and I can go and play something that's really interesting.
Yeah, the thing is, neither of us are the Paladin experts.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the Paladin experts are very enthusiastic about this because you can play it in Recruit Paladin, you can play it just kind of all around, like in anything decks, you can get your Murlocs off really quickly.
Yep.
So there's a lot of good stuff going around on this one.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have any. The only thing I can think of is if you're ever playing a deck where you want to be teching in Dirty Rat. If you play it against like an aggro deck, this will be good. So you can just pull the Dirty Rat out as the 2/6 body, but then you still have the potential to keep that, to not play this card against something like Reno Priest, where you need to pull out the Raza. So it has a little bit of counterplay with that, which I like.
So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
I'm gonna go a little bit halfway between thumbs up and meh, but it should be interesting. All right, level up. 5 mana, give your Silverhand recruits +2/+2, and taunt.
All right, so I've already mentioned I really like spells that have an exclamation point at the end. This card's great. Just from a shouting at the top of your lungs kind of card. Quality card.
Definitely good flavor.
But we do have Dude Paladin in Wild. So this is a quartermaster plus taunt. So
the taunt typically isn't relevant, right? You don't really ever want to have your guy. I mean, your guys are going to be either killed or not. That's what it comes down to. So the question is, do you ever want to run 3 quartermasters or 4 quartermasters in a deck? And I would say that you probably want to run 3 at a very minimum. But I'm not sure about the 4th one. I'm not sure if that's
so. The 4th one, I'm just gonna say you can't put the 4th level up in your deck. But the thing is, it's not as good as Quartermaster, right? You don't get that 2/5 along with it. You don't get the 2/5 along with it. So do you play 3 level ups in Dude Paladin? Probably, because I kind of like Quartermaster a lot better than Stegodon, but it's the 30th card that you put in your deck most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree.
So I'm going to give it a meh.
Same exact spot. So Crystal Lion. The 6 mana 5/5 Divine Shield, cost 1 for each Silverhand recruit that you control.
They're really pushing this.
Yeah. I think that they're really pushing it for standard, so that you have some sort of, because there's no recruit in standard, so
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see those decks pop up. But this just adds to a currently broken deck. Like this card, I mean, this is significantly better than Sea Giant, which was tested in Recruit Paladin. Recruit Paladin tested out Sea Giant. It didn't make the cut, but this is like significantly better than Sea Giant in that deck, because you're going to be able to play it for 1 or 2 mana extremely consistently.
Yeah, the thing is, Recruit Paladin's trying to get faster and faster and faster. Where before, like, if Recruit Paladin was what it was in Ungold, you definitely see this card just instant lock in. But in Wild, I'm not so enthusiastic about it anymore, just because of how fast our Recruit Paladins are. Like, if Recruit Paladin was in Standard, they call it aggro deck.
Yeah, that's fair.
By how fast it is. And it's good, but again, the deck is going so fast. Can you really afford to play a 4 mana card? I mean, I guess in most instances, 4 mana, maybe 3 mana.
It'll be around that. It'll be 4 or 3 mana. So are you? So a 3 mana 5/5 with Divine Shield, you can just play that in your deck. I think that's pretty good, but it's conditional. The thing is that it's conditional.
It's certainly better than Level Up for me.
Yes, I feel that these go in the deck before Level Up does. I still feel that you can fit this in because aggro isn't getting much faster this expansion. A lot of the cards that we get for aggro maybe will make it reach farther, but it doesn't necessarily go faster. So I feel that you might be able to slow down a little bit with your Paladin and stick this in so you can contest some other matchups, like playing against a combo deck or something.
So I'm gonna give it a slight downturn, but it's a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the straight thumbs up.
Straight thumb. All right.
All right. How do you pronounce this? Valinir.
Good, that's as good as I'll say.
Close enough. So it's a 6 mana 4/2, and with the Death Rattle, give a minion in your hand +4/+2. When it dies, re-equip this. So this is obviously an extreme value card.
Yes.
This is like
the Rogue Anubarak. Anubarak is the extreme of value. You play it once, you don't have to. You just forget about it. You just keep playing it over and over again. But Anubarak isn't seeing play, but it's in Rogue, right? So in Paladin, do they have the tools to really survive? I just think it just takes way too long to really get this going.
Control Paladin has some tools, like you have Uther, the Death Knight, but I mean that deck isn't particularly good. And while I do know a couple people who live and die by that deck, I don't feel that this really adds too much to that. I mean, you compare this to the current Shaman weapon. What's the name of it? It's the 5 mana one. That's
Twilight, Hammer of Twilight.
So if you compare that with this, right, you swing, it's the same weapon, but 1 mana less, and then the +4/+2, instead of being a body that magically appears on the board, you have to pay whatever mana cost on the minion that you played. So, I don't know, and while that is used in the aggro shaman decks, I don't feel that you can really fit this in, because it's just, I mean, that's a 5 mana weapon. I think that's better than this.
Yeah, but you compare this with the how long can this go on guy, the 4 mana 2/3. You compare it with double doppelgangster for some extreme value, but I don't see it. Hand buff paladin this controlling. I just don't see it. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
I'm also on the thumbs down train.
Alright, so 7 mana 1/1 Battlecry. Each spell cast each spell you cast this cast each spell you cast on your minion this Wow, I am struggling with this one.
Yeah, it is worded weird. So you cast
each spell you cast on your minions this game on this one.
That is worded so poorly.
we understand what it means. So people are like, oh, does this, like, Poach, put this in Quest Paladin? And I was like, this costs 7 mana. I'm trying to kill my opponent on turn 6 with Quest Paladin.
Yeah.
I can't really afford to do this, and also I'm not playing actual spells on my minions. I'm playing, these spare parts. Like, okay, it's a 7 mana 5/2 with Divine Shield. Good for me, right? Like, no, you just don't play this in Quest Paladin. As far as the aggressive types, I just don't. And
I think that the aggressive type is the only one that's good enough, right?
Yes.
The mid-range slow one, while you can sneak that out in standard, it's not good enough for wild. So, yeah.
Thumbs down.
I'm also on the thumbs down train.
And I love Quest Paladin. Just why they could have made it good, and then they didn't.
Yep. So anyway, moving right along onto Priest, we have the Psionic Probe. Copy a spell, 1 mana, copy a spell in your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. So, I think this is a little bit better than Mind Vision. The direct comparison you want to make to is Mind Vision, where you steal a random card from your opponent's hand. Now, being able to select it from being a spell is definitely a little bit better, because you're Priest, and Priest likes playing spells more than they like playing minions. I don't know. I feel that it's a little bit better than Mind Vision, but Mind Vision really isn't specifically played in any deck at the moment.
Yeah, I like that they continued along the path of Thought Steal. So Thought Steal is at 3 mana, draw 2 from your opponent's deck, and then there's the 5 mana copy 3 spells, or 3 cards from your opponent's deck, and now we have the 1 mana version. So we got the trifecta. Maybe it'll be a 7 mana, draw 4.
Yeah, like Sprint.
And then that's when they print UI for Priest.
For Priest. I think we have enough in Priest already.
Yeah. But this is a 1 mana spell. 1 mana spells always see use just because you can miracle them out, so.
Yeah. It'll be a cool spell off of Lyra, too. You'll be pretty excited to get this off of Lyra, because it cycles.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you necessarily play this in any particular deck. The best place for it is Reno, Reno Priest, but
I don't think it makes that cut. Yeah,
it would be the 30th card. So if you want to play it, you can play it. So I'm gonna give it a slight downturn from meh.
Yep, exactly. Same spot.
All right, Dragon Soul, 3 mana, 0/3, weapon for Priest. After you cast 3 spells in a turn, summon a 5/5 dragon. This is sweet.
It is interesting because if you go off and play, like imagine you play a Lyra turn while you have this up, you play 10 spells or something ridiculous. Yeah. Your opponents, if you're playing against a priest, like let's say Big Priest, they can't dragon fire your board because your minions are all dragons. So the main way that I would try to get rid of these dragons, it's rather difficult to do so, to get rid of 5/5s. And Dragonfire Potion is typically one of those, and not being able to do that is difficult. However, in Wild, we do have Light Bomb, which is much better against this.
And Psychic Scream. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Psychic Scream, which...
Oh, man. That card.
Oh, that is going to be crazy.
But yeah. This Priest isn't really well known for trying to zoo out the board. I'm not really sure you play this in Dragon Priest. Like, the dragon tag doesn't really matter, except for your opponent playing Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah.
So, the fact that it's a Priest card, sure, they can do some miracle stuff with it, but at best, you're playing it in Reno Priest, but like a mid-rangey variant. So, I'm going to give it a meh.
I just don't see it seeing much play, to be perfectly honest. I'm going with the thumbs down. But I mean, it takes a lot to play 3 spells on one turn. You imagine, you
and that's not Wild. We have spare parts, man.
Well, I mean, yes.
If you want a deck for this,
if you want a deck for it, you have to specifically design your deck around it. And a lot of the decks that I would try to slot this into don't play 3 spells per turn typically.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always go and play the really cheap spells, but I don't think it really fits.
All right, next card. 3 mana, 2/2, Gilded Gargoyle, Death Rattle, add a coin to your hand. So this is kind of a comparison to the Rogue card. Man, I forgot his name. The 4 mana, 5/4, Tomb Pillager.
Tomb Pillager.
Yes, with the same Death Rattle. Tomb Pillager is really good. This card is significantly worse, but not really sure if that matters all that much.
Yeah, I mean, Tomb Pillager was good because it was a 5 mana. It was a 4 mana 5/4 on curve, and a lot of the. But the thing is, in Priest, you're not really ever trying to play for the board like Rogue is. You're really either trying to go and. I mean, having a coin in Priest is significantly better in my mind than it is in Rogue as well. I mean, Rogue can use the combo effect with it, but having the coin for reaching your AoE earlier if you need to use that, or being able to get the extra damage for your Spawn of Shadows in Reno Priest, you could sneak this into Reno Priest, I think.
Yeah, it's a fair card.
The issue that I see is that it's a 2-attack minion, so it can be stolen by Potion of Madness. Yeah. So that's the one thing that, I mean, if this gets stolen by Potion of Madness, it's a significant tempo loss because you just played 3 mana to give your opponent a coin.
Yeah, so if you're really worried about the mirror for your Reno Priest, like, you probably don't play this, but overall, I think that you end up playing this card when you're not expecting Reno Priest all the time.
Yeah. I think this is more of a tech card in the Reno Priest than just putting it in there, but I think it's around, it's probably top 30, 35 cards for that.
All right, well, I'm going to give it an enthusiastic thumbs up. I don't think you're quite as enthusiastic.
I'm not as enthusiastic on that one. I'm going to go halfway, but it should be interesting. Oops.
All right,
we're back in.
Next one is a 3 mana 2/4 Twilight Acolyte with the battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, swap this minion's attack with another minion's.
This is pretty crazy.
So, yeah. This is what, Vol'jin except for attack?
Yeah. And I mean, just being able to steal attack, you can also steal. You can steal your current minions' attack. You can steal your enemy's minions. So overall, setting something to 2 mana is significant because you can also like the last card. You can Potion of Madness cards that you set to 2 attack. So you swap someone's like Sylvanas or something. You steal the attack, and then you Potion of Madness their Sylvanas. You can make huge tempo swings with this.
For sure. Also, so it kind of parallels with the 3 mana 3/3 from Paladin. Ooh, forgot its name, but it has the battle cry of give one attack to a minion. So that card's a playable card in Control Priest. I feel like this is a playable card in Control Dragon Priests, if not just all Dragon Priests entirely.
Yeah, well, they are pushing Dragon Priest, so we will see that later on. So
especially the control variants.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
I'm gonna also give it a thumbs up on that one. Yeah, a little bit slighted down, but it's still thumbs up.
Yes, I like it.
So Twilight's Call, 3 mana, summon 1/1 copies of 2 friendly Death Rattle minions that died this game. So I think that a lot of this really, in my mind, depends on the way that this is constructed. If it's 2 friendly minions have to die in order for this to occur, it's obviously it's going to be significantly worse than if you let 1 Death Rattle minion die and you can summon 2 copies back of that.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's worded that. Do you know how this interaction works?
Because I don't. Amara? Yeah, it does work with Amara, so it'll activate your quest.
No. I'm just saying. I'm thinking about this for Big Priest.
Okay.
I'm thinking about this like if I get a Obsidian statue and I have 1 copy of that die, does this summon 2 friendly Death Rattle minions? Does it bring back 2 Obsidian statue 1/1s?
Summon 1/1 copies of 2 friendly. I'm assuming you only get 1.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. I want it to be worded
because if it was 2, you could sneak this into your Big Priest.
You just play a bit more Death Rattle minions.
Yeah, you just play a couple more things. Just play some big guys with some Death Rattles. I think that would be a really good card in there. But you were going along the other route for Quest Priest.
Yeah. So this is a card for Quest Priest if you really want to be playing that. Priest isn't exactly having a hard time with health because there is Reno, there is all these other health gain cards in Priest, so you don't really need Amara. But if you really want to be playing Amara, you play this card pretty instantly. But as far as decks that aren't Amara, I think this card's really just interesting. Like it's kind of hard to place it exactly. It might not be good right now in other decks, but it could be really good down the line. Just because 1/1s are really interesting as far as what you do with them, so I like it.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm gonna go on my thumbs up scale halfway through.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher. Like I'm not quite as far as a full thumbs up, but slightly downturn. I think I like it a lot.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the Unidentified Elixir. Give a minion +2/+2, and it gains the bonus effect when it's in your hand. So the bonus effects are add Death Rattle, return this minion to your hand, give a minion +2/+2 in Lifesteal, give a minion +2/+2 in Divine Shield.
So we have Valen's Chosen. Is this card at all better than Valen's Chosen?
No, I don't believe it is. Do you think it is?
No, but like I want it to be. Like yeah. Basically,
in certain decks, though, in certain decks, sometimes you want to run 3 Valen's Chosen, and this would be okay in that situation. The big thing is not knowing what it's going to be until you have it in your hand.
It's the same problem with the shield and the weapon for the unidentified objects.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give it a thumbs down for Wild, but I feel like in Standard this might have some use.
I'm also up there with the thumbs down, just because of the Velens.
All right, so not a thumbs down card is
yeah.
our next one.
Duskbreaker. 4 mana 3/3 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all other minions. Now, the overall reception of this card has been incredibly positive. So, just how much will this impact the wild metagame is the question. Because the effect is broken. Because it's Excavated Evil, and then you, for 1 less mana, and you get a 3/3 body on the board. Which,
with only the condition you have to hold a dragon.
Yeah, which is incredibly easy to do. Especially if you're playing a dragon deck, which... Priest is the dragon class, if I'm correct. If there's one class that's dedicated to dragons, it's Priest. So, I don't know.
Dragon Paladin never got along.
Yeah. My Dragon Druid, it's actually a thing now.
Yeah.
if you call running 3 dragons, or 4 dragons in a deck a thing, Ramp Druid. But that is a dragon deck.
Sure, I'll give it to you. But, so the problem with this card in particular, Dragon Priest decks right now. So Dragon Priest is a tempo deck. They're running Holy Nova rather than Excavated Evil. So even though Excavated Evil does more damage, it also hurts your own minions, and that's kind of why people run Holy Nova, why people don't run Excavated Evil. So yes, this card's really good, but it doesn't really go particularly well in the decks that it wants to go in.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think you only end up running one of this card. It's an amazing card, but in Dragon Priest, this isn't what your goal is. Your goal isn't to just clear the board over and over again. But this is a solid card for it. So
I think this actually leads to a Dragon Priest that's a more control, like this current standard Dragon Priest, which is just remove, and that deck does okay against Reno Priest in standard because they have issues dealing with because they can't Dragonfire the board.
Yeah,
because you have a bunch of dragons on board, but that is taken away because of Light Bomb. So I feel that in Wild that deck won't take off as much, but I bet you will see some competing versions of Dragon Priest. There will definitely be 2 versions going around, at least at the start. So there will be a controlling version as well.
So the one thing that I'm kind of somewhat excited for would be a Dragon Reno Priest. So you're running more minions in your Dragon Priest, or in your Reno Priest. You're running the Dragon package. And you're able to get just slightly more AoEs off. It's going to be slightly better than the current Reno Priest against mid-range decks, just because you're running all of these minions. So it's got something there, but yeah, it's a good card. It just doesn't have a place. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up, but it's it's a meh thumbs up.
No, I'm giving this a full thumbs up. It's definitely one of the strongest cards that it's the strongest card in my opinion that they're printing this expansion.
We've got a pretty good one coming up.
I think that this is I still think that for the tempo and everything that this one probably I can argue with you that this one's better than the other one. But,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm giving this one 1.5 to 1 3/4 thumbs up.
This is certainly one of the most powerful cards in the game. It just doesn't necessarily have the best place in right now.
Correct.
Down the line, it'll probably be a lot better.
All right, to the Priest Spellstone. So the Lesser Diamond Spellstone, 7 mana, resurrect 2 different friendly minions, cast 4 spells to upgrade, and then it becomes 3 different friendly minions and 4 different friendly minions. So this one specifically states that they are different friendly minions. So if you only have 1 minion die, then you won't bring 2 of them back. And then if you have 1 minion or 2 minions of the same type die, you will only bring 1 of them back.
Yes, so, I like the clarity on this one rather than Twilight's Call.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more specific, which I like. But yeah, Big Priest is a thing. This card goes in Big Priest.
Does it really, though? You're not going to be playing 4 spells, so...
No,
it's hard to cast 4 spells.
There's a lot of spells in that deck. You're playing a lot of removal. You're playing Potion of not Potion of Madness. Your pint-sized potion. You're playing the 4 mana AoE that combos with that. You're playing essentially. You're just board clearing after board clearing after board clearing. I think you're fine getting it. The thing with this card is I'm okay playing 7 mana to summon these two. To summon 2 different friendly minions. I'm okay playing this off the top. So getting it upgraded 1 more level, if I have this in my hand for a while, is fantastic to get the 3. But I'm fine playing this straight up for the effect. For the initial effect.
Okay. I think it's going to be really hard to get it all the way to greater spellstone, but you know, if you get the lesser one or the standard spellstone, it's a quality card.
Yep.
All right, what's your thumb rating on it?
I'm going with the good thumbs up for this. This is going to instantly find a place in the big priest deck.
All right, so I'm solidly meh here. Just easy sideways for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
All right,
what's not meh is Psychic Scream.
Why do they print this card?
Who knows, man?
This card's insane.
Yep.
Like, best card ever. Although you apparently think Duskbreaker is, but
well, I think Duskbreaker you could go in because of the early tempo. You can get that out on 4 and clear off any aggro. This is more or less for the big priest mirror for Reno Priest. This is how you destroy, because the matchup is pretty even at the moment in Wilds. I'm not sure of the specific Vicious Syndicate percentage. But I would say that off the top of my head, my experience, Reno Priest versus Big Priest, relatively even. And this is what sets it apart. This is what goes, and you just take the minions that are on the board, you take them out, they're no longer pressuring you, you can build up more spells, draw it, and just win.
And not even just that, like, even like you said, Jade Druid, all of a sudden you're shuffling all these Jades into their deck. Recruit Paladin, all of a sudden they have to draw actual Silverhand recruits from their deck. This card kind of just hits everything. There's not really too much counterplay to it, which is scary. So,
yeah, pretty much.
It's a great card. It's 2 thumbs, but
this is double thumbs. Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
I wish it was 9 mana. At 9 mana, I would be like, okay, cool. It's a nice card. Like, it's a good card. I mean, maybe a bit too overcosted at 9, but that's just where I feel like it should be.
Sure. I feel it should be. I like it at 8 mana, but same difference.
It's 7 mana. Oof. Yeah. Anyway, so
something else that is 7 mana. Yeah, something else that's 7 mana. We have Temporis, which is the 7 mana 6/6 battle cry. Your opponent takes 2 turns, then you take 2 turns. So this, in my mind,
if you're in a winning position, now you're in a losing position.
Yeah.
If you're losing, you just lose. You're done.
I don't really think you have to say much more about this. That's pretty accurate. I mean, giving your opponent 2 turns is devastating. 2 notes on this, though, is that this nerfs Netherspite Historian. Whereas when you have Netherspite Historian, you typically have the access to the Draconoid Operative relatively frequently because it's a class-specific card. And now that is completely offset by this. So so now playing Netherspite Historian and Dragon Priest, you have the potential of pulling this.
And if Priest ever gets their own ice block or some form of ice block, you might be able to play this card. So if Priest ever gets secrets, potentially be on the lookout.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time a new class gets secrets.
Yeah, and ice block, I bet. So
yeah. Speaking of, let's move on to Rogue.
Ooh, fancy. I love this.
Yeah.
All right, so Kingsbane, a 1 mana 1/3 legendary weapon from Rogue. The Death Rattle, shuffle this into your deck. It keeps any enchantments. So the keep any enchantment part is not attached to the Death Rattle part of this card. So you can be playing your Doomerang, and you will get that back to your hand with all the buffs. So important note of that. This card's insane. Like, this card's crazy.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm not as excited. You were very excited about this card, but I'm not as excited. I think it's definitely a powerful card, but I'm not sure how consistent you can. I mean, obviously, there's another card that's coming up that adds to its consistency. But the one thing about having the weapon is that you want to be able to play this early and get the buffs on it early. Which, if you come in and if you have to wait to get this in your hand and everything, and your deck is centered around it, then you run into some issues. But Wild,
your deck isn't. Sorry, keep going.
But I mean, the thing is that this is much better in Wild than it is in Standard because of Tinker's Sharpsword Oil. That is a buff that's incredibly powerful and just something that goes on this card, and it's spectacular.
And the other option is Buccaneer, I think, is a TGT card. So that's another option that we have in Wild that they don't have in Standard. But yeah, this card's insane for Oil Rogue in particular. We've kind of wanted a Lights Justice card in Rogue for a really long time. Like, if this was just a 1/3, it would actually still be a good card, even without the other card that we have. This card just is great. You don't have to play this on turn 1. You can play it at any point. It's a 1-mana card for your combo enablers. It's just so aggressive. I love it.
I'm not much of a rogue player, but
oh yeah, so I guess a note that I'm the rogue expert for Tempo Storm. So Danny doesn't necessarily know as much about rogue, so I love it. 2 thumbs up. Just great card, great card.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up, maybe drooping a little bit down, but that's also because I'm not as familiar with rogue, so I'll have to give you that one.
Like, I'm gonna be more enthusiastic about rogue and you're gonna think about so.
Yeah, sure.
Like, that's just how it's going to go.
That's how it turns out, yeah. All right, moving along. Something that's related to this card. 2 mana, 3/1, Cavern Shiny Finder. Battle Cry, Battle Cry, draw a weapon from your deck. So this is directly related with that, with the weapon. You're going to play, I'm assuming you're playing this in the deck. In every deck, you include that weapon.
You're not going to be playing any other weapon other than Kingsbane with Shiny Finder. Actually, I just don't think they're ever going to be playing any other weapon in Rogue ever. for the rest of time, Kingsbane is Rogue's weapon, and Shiny Finder will be the go-to for it.
Yeah, seems fair.
1/2 package.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough, and something that draws a specific card from your deck on 2 mana with such aggressive stats. Yeah. I feel that that's really good as well. Just looking at how they statted the minion.
They gave this card everything. Like, the only thing they didn't give it is a pirate tag.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, 2 thumbs up. Like, this card makes, Kingsbane twice as good.
I'm going to give this one a thumbs up, even though I gave the weapon a little bit lower, because that just buffs the deck a lot. The one thing that's interesting is that this card does mean you're not running Keleseth in that deck. You cannot run that weapon with Keleseth.
Yeah, but you don't really run Keleseth in Oil Rogue to begin with, just because you're running so many spells. You have to run preps, you have to run oil, you have to run all of these weapon buffs, so...
Sure.
I think that's
just a note that I wanted to point out.
Yes, along with all of these secrets that we're getting.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And we have Cheat Death, which is the 2 mana secret. When a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand, and it costs 2 less. So this is like a pseudo shadow step, where you can leave a minion on board. And this is they actually provided a good amount of support for Quest Rogue in this expansion. So I find this more or less as an out in Quest Rogue, where you can sometimes in Quest Rogue you run into the situation where you're 1 short and you'd have to keep the minion on board. So if you ever just have that secret on the board and you get the minion back and then you can replay it again, for typically you're bouncing back cheap minions, so just being able to automatically play that and then play the quest after, I think this is an automatic fit for that deck.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you can't necessarily control where it goes as well, but early on you don't actually know what you're gonna be hitting, what you're gonna go off with anyway. So the fact that your opponent chooses for you isn't the worst thing in the world. You just kind of go off. This card is good in Quest Mage. Not really sure where else you put it, but it does work with Mad Scientist, where the other secrets don't really work with Mad Scientist as well. So if you're playing Mad, you can play Mad Scientist, play this card, it'll get you an extra card, which is pretty great.
Pretty good.
Mad Scientist is too good, so that's
Mad Scientist is really good.
Cool. Yeah,
but Mad Scientist isn't necessarily good with this next card, Evasion, which is essentially Ice Block for Rogue. After your hero takes damage, become immune this turn. I like the flavor in this, how it mirrors the Valera Death Knight, where you just become stealth for the turn. But yeah, you don't. This is the secret that really brought it to my mind, where a situation where you don't want to run Mad Scientist, because if you get this pulled early in the game, you play Mad Scientist turn 2, it gets popped, then your opponent can just ping you in the face for 1, and then your ice block is gone. So
yeah, it'll do absolutely nothing with Mad Scientist. However, if you're playing one of those late game decks like Malygos Rogue, where you're not really caring about what they're doing on their end, you're just going to banish them away. You're just going to be stealth for the turn. You're just going to evasion, right? So you have like 4 turns. You have 4, 6, 8 turns where your opponent just can't do anything other than do 1 damage to you. Well,
one group
do
of
1 strike to you
in
a way. So expect this to be really good in Malygos Rogue, in any really end game kind of
even
rogue.
Miracle
Like Quest Rogue.
Even Miracle Rogue. If you play this in Miracle Rogue, I mean, just prep this with Gadgetzan on board, and then you just go off, and you can. This really affects any rogue that's not an aggressive rogue, essentially.
So yeah, good card. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I don't think we did Cheat Death though.
Oh yeah. So back to
Cheat Death is a slight meh. Is it a slight upward from meh, but and then Evasion is a slight downward from all the way thumbs up.
Oh, I'm giving Evasion a thumbs up. I'm giving Evasion all the way.
Yeah, it's certainly a very powerful card for those. Actually, yeah, I'll change mine. Thumbs up. Boom. Easy.
There we go. All right, so Sudden Betrayal, the last secret of the trio. When a minion attacks your hero, instead it attacks one of its neighbors. So this does have some counterplay with Cheat Death, right? Where your opponent wants to go and attack with his biggest minion against Cheat Death. And then if you play Sudden Betrayal, well, now he's attacking his other minions with his biggest minion. So, and they counterplay pretty nicely into each other, so I don't know. So sometimes you play, especially with all these secret decks, you'll play something that's subpar because of the initial strength of one card. Like when you play Ice Barrier because you're playing Ice Block in a mage deck. Yeah. So I feel that playing this card, you could probably play maybe one of them in a deck that's running 2 secrets, 2 of the Cheat Deaths. So that you can fake your opponent out at some point.
Because Mad Scientist works best with 3 secrets, just because you don't want to draw into your other secret, or you don't want to be playing 2 Mad Scientists and not have the first one activated. So most of the time you're playing 2 Mad Scientists and 3 secrets, and that's very particular. So you play... this is the one that goes along with Cheat Death, because it does actually do something with Mad Scientist, while Evasion doesn't necessarily work as well.
Yep. All right, so what's your thumbs up rating on this?
Oh, meh.
Yeah, I feel that's about fair as well. It's right around there. I don't like this
as much as Cheat Death or Evasion. It's the 3rd secret.
Yeah, like, exactly. Okay, cool. It's there. It's there because you have to have counterplay. If you have 1 secret, it's not really that secret.
Yeah, basically, just because Mad Scientist is really, really good, this might see play, but that's the only reason. It's not because this card's at all good.
Now our rogue legendary, Sonya Shadow Dancer, 3 mana 2/2. After a friendly minion dies, add a 1/1 copy to your hand. It costs 1.
So Quest Rogue. Yeah.
Well, you also Quest Rogue is my immediate thought where you can go and play that, but you could also play this in like a tempo rogue as well. Yeah. If you this fits in most rogue archetypes. It's just a good around rogue legendary, because you play this in Miracle Rogue, you get you have the Gadget Sand survive for a turn. You kill it off, you get a 1/1 version. You get a Vile Spine Slayer and Tempo Rogue 1/1 version. That's fantastic. So I don't know.
Conceal this, or you can conceal your minions, then play Sonya, then push them off, and then it's such a good card. Like it works in almost every single rogue archetype, which is why it's got a lot going for it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a discount version of Cult Master.
Yeah, you can view it like that as well.
And I'd like to say that the 1/1 copies of minions are just plain cards. So, you know, solid thumbs up.
This is a thumbs up, maybe even a thumbs up and a half, because you're gonna play this in literally every single rogue deck.
Yeah, that has potential to do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think you're gonna play this in every rogue deck. Except maybe you might not play it in oil rogue. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the only one
where you don't do that.
But for all the
other, it's the one. All right, moving along, we have Elven Minstrel. 4 mana, 3/2 combo. Draw 2 minions from your deck.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, solid card draw. Card draw is good in Rogue. I mean, as we've seen for Miracle Rogue. But one of the big things, even putting this in Miracle Rogue, you draw the minions, which lets you have spells in your deck, which is great for when you're playing Gadget Stand Auctioneer later on. You can draw into more spells, and you can consistently not get dead drawn by the minions.
For like Malygos Miracle Rogue, you can, it's a tutor for your Malygos or every other card that you want. In Tempo Rogue, where you're playing that Kelseth, all those minions have +1/+1 attached to them, so or +2/+2. So this card's great, just all round fantastic card. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up as well, but I'm a little bit hesitant about that because it is a combo card. You do have to combo it out with something, so you're not going to be doing this until, I mean, you typically have Backstab as in your hand as Rogue, but unless you have Backstab, you have to wait until turn 5, at least.
For sure. Or coin. Or
if you coining this out is coining this out is deadly. Like this on 3, that's crazy.
Another crazy card. We have a 4 mana 4/4 Faldori Strider. I'll just go with that. Battlecry, shuffle 3 ambushes into your deck. When drawn, summon a 4/4 spider. So this is very similar to Beneath the Grounds that we have. And Beneath the Grounds lately has been seeing some play, but that's mainly because it counters Reno Priest, both with 4/4s and the fact that it's getting rid of that Reno activation. Yeah. But apart from that, even though that's not exactly what you're going for, it is 4 attack minions.
Yeah.
So Priest is going to have a hard time with this.
And one of the things in Rogue 2 is you are always trying to draw your deck as fast as possible in Rogue at all times. So you're going to get through these relatively quickly. I just think it's a pretty solid card. And like 16/16 for stats on 4. And obviously the having them be spread out is good as well, because you're not necessarily being removed by one big AoE or one specific like targeted damage. So that's good having them spread out. Not necessarily controlling them. They're like controlling you can't really control them, but I don't know. I don't think that's relatively important.
Yeah. And the fact that it only loses 1 stat from Yeti, or 4/4 stats along the way, that you're definitely going to get to at least 1, maybe 2, right? It's a top-notch card. Like they're pushing Rogue this expansion. I'm not really sure why. I feel like Rogue's doing all right.
Yeah. It's interesting. So thumbs up rating on this one.
Give it a thumbs up. Just pure up, just straight up. Boom. Yep, Hitchhiker thumb up. You're not as enthusiastic?
Oh no, I'm that was a silent thumbs up. That was a silent thumbs up in unison.
Okay. I gotcha.
So Kobold Illusionist, 4 mana 3/3, Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand. So this is an interesting card with that minstrel card, right? You play 2 minions in your deck. You played a Kobold Illusionist and you play a Malygos. You draw those 2 minions from your deck, and then you play this. Whenever this dies, it summons a Malagos, a 1/1 Malagos. Yeah.
But it's a 1/1 Malagos, so it's pretty easy to get rid of from your opponent.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can kill your own minions. I mean, obviously your opponent's gonna try to kill this first, but if you combo this with, I don't know, you have an Azure Drake on board or something, and then you play a backstab on this. I mean, that has a lot of hoops to jump around, and Rogue is one of the classes that you can't really jump around in the hoops, but there is some potential to some broken combo decks with this.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential with this card. I just don't see the actual combos myself, like, actually coming to fruition.
That's fair. This is one of the cards that I'd like to experiment around with. This is one of the cards that I like to dig into and make something that doesn't necessarily have something directly there, and try to see what you can come up with.
It's a very hard card to really evaluate. You have to play around with it. So I'm gonna give it a meh ratio.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at the same spot, but it has a lot of fun behind it. There's gonna be a lot of fun when you play this card.
Yeah, it's an enthusiastic meh.
And our next card, Lesser Onyx Spellstone. So it's the Rogue Spellstone. You destroy one random enemy minion, and you have to play 3 Death Rattle cards to upgrade, and then it goes to 2 and then to 3 in its final form. So this is interesting.
Yeah, it's a deadly shot for 5. Yeah. And you have to play 3 Death Rattle cards. It's pretty hard to play 3 Death Rattle. Like, there's...
Yeah. You have to play a specific deck based around Death Rattle to do that. You have to play Death Rattle Rogue, which is
it says Death Rattle cards, not minion. I think this is kind of important.
That's a good spot. Yes, you have the weapon as well. That is a very good point.
I completely forgot about that, but that exists. So you can actually get this off somewhat reliably.
Yeah, well. I mean, if you're playing Death Rattle Rogue with the weapon, you can get it off very easily. Not very easily, but you can.
Yes, but that deck doesn't necessarily play a lot of Death Rattle. Oil Rogue is kind of really good with Han Creeper and Shredder. So you are playing some, but you're not playing Raptor.
You're playing Mad Scientist now, though. Mad Scientist is a Death Rattle. You can definitely build a deck. This is better in Wild than Standard, I think, because of the Death Rattle minions.
But still, even at the best, like destroying 3 minions or destroying 2 minions.
I think that you're Rogue though, so you typically have the ability to deal with some. I mean, you have saps and other things, so you can limit to the board to 2 or 3 minions. So. Imagine it be a 5 mana destroy your opponent's minions, as opposed to just destroy 1 or 2 minions.
Well, like the first one is kind of just terrible.
Yeah, well, you definitely have to get it to the second level, I think, for it to be.
The second level, I don't think is actually that good. It's basically a Crushing Wall, but for 5 mana. So is Crushing Wall for 5 mana that good in Rogue? I don't think so. And it's also
there are better things that you want to do in Rogue, though. That's the whole thing. You'd rather be, instead of killing your opponent's minions off, you would just want to be killing your opponent.
True. So I'm gonna give this a down vote for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic, so I'll go like up a little bit, but but that's about it.
Yeah, but Rogue is really pushed this expansion.
Yeah,
they got a lot of juicy stuff.
Got a lot of strong cards.
All right, Shaman.
Oh boy.
First one is Unstable Evolution. Transform a minion into one that costs 1 more. Repeatable this turn. So you play it, you get the card Unstable Evolution back into your hand, and you can play it however many times you want. So it's like a very controlled evolution for whatever the regardless of what the card text says.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And the ability, I feel that this finds its way into an Evolved Shaman. It definitely, most certainly in Standard, where they have Evolved Shaman, that is actually a good deck. I feel that this definitely slots into that. The question that, for me at least, does this make the card good, that deck good enough for Wild? Because there's always been this difference between mid-range and token Shaman.
right? So it's like, oh, which one's inching out better? And right now they're very even. So I feel like this card really pushes Evolve Shaman one more.
Yeah. I think so as well. But I think we also get some mid-range Shaman tools as well coming up later on.
For sure. So I'm going to give it a slight uptick from meh.
Like, I'm gonna give it a meh, but I mean, okay, I'm also not the Shaman expert.
Yeah. But it's pushing it a little bit more, so we'll see. Next one is Crushing Hand. 2 mana, deal 8 damage to a minion, overload 3. Yeah, so we're seeing later on that there is some overload synergy with the Spellstone. So overload 3 is kind of important, but at this cost, so you have, it's basically a 5 mana, deal 8 to a minion. We've seen that sort of in Flame Lance in Mage.
Yeah, and that was sometimes it was good enough to play in a Reno deck. But I don't think you main deck 2 of these.
Yeah.
See, this in my mind would be, now that Hex is nerfed, this is like on par with the level of Hex. Like, obviously Hex you typically use more for silence, but if you just need to get rid of a big minion like a Ragnaros or something,
yeah,
Crushing Hand is very good on that.
It's like a Hex that does have that overload synergy, so you can activate your Spellstone, which has a lot of potential in it. So
yeah,
it feels like a bad card just because that's so high, but it does have some potential.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a meh.
Yep. Same thing here. Meh level. Kobold Hermit. 2 mana, 1/1 battle cry. Choose a basic totem. Summon it. So
this totem thing is not gonna work out.
To be fair, choosing your totem is typically very good. I mean, just the effect. I've played control shamans before, where I've played like sleeper shaman, where you go and you play Justicar, and then you choose your totem every single turn.
Yeah.
And being able to do that shows the strength in just guaranteeing to have that extra Wrath of Air totem or the Taunt totem. Just being able to choose between those two, which are the two that you're most likely going to choose, for whatever situation, really. I don't know, it's 2 mana. Instead of using your hero power, it's choose a totem.
For sure. And you get a 1/1 attached to it, so
yeah,
you
so
basically
it's a little bit better,
totems. Yeah. There just aren't enough situations where you spell damage. I mean, obviously spell damage is what you're really looking for this card. But a 2 mana 1/3-ish spell damage card, like you can just play a 2 mana 2/2 spell damage, right? So
yeah.
Does it being a different totem make that much of a difference for Bloodlust, for example?
Maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is slightly upturned from the original No Take Candle card, but I'm gonna give it a thumbs down myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that.
All right, next card, Murmuring Elemental. It's a 2 mana 1/1 elemental. Battle cry. Your next battle cries this turn trigger twice. So we've seen a similar card.
Yeah, we've seen this with Bran. But the big thing about this is you get this out a turn earlier. And one of the things is that with Bran, normally you only pair this with 1 minion, right? You play Bran and then Kazakis in Reno Maze or Reno Priest, where I don't know.
Or Bran the Jades.
Yeah, Bran with the Jades. Yeah,
normally do in Shaman.
Yeah, so I feel that you could probably fit this into the Jade deck, but
yes,
I don't really see. Yeah,
it's certainly the closest thing that we have. Elemental Shaman, it doesn't exactly fit in there because you're triggering it. You're not triggering it. It doesn't say your next battle cry is next turn trigger twice, which would be better for the elemental tag. Which I'm kind of disappointed by that it's not like full blown going for the elementals. But I do like this card for Jades because now you can play you can play this and your Jade Claws. So you get your 2 Jade Golems a turn faster than Bran.
Yeah. Getting it out a little bit earlier, being able to sneak it out definitely gives it some merit.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't know exactly where to place it.
Yeah. I'm not too hopeful with this. Right now, I'm going a little bit below meh, but I don't know if you can figure out something that where you have Bran a turn earlier, and it really matters.
Yeah,
I would consider that.
You do play Bran alongside this card. Like this card doesn't seem better than Bran in any circumstance. So just because it is a 1/1.
Added the consistency with it then. So you just consistently have multiple battle cries. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it like slightly upturn from meh. I don't see that deck really coming to fruition, but I do like the card quite a bit.
Okay.
All right. Next card. Whew.
Healing Rain. 3 mana, restore 12 health divided randomly among all friendly characters. So one of the big things for me on determining how powerful it is does this target damage minions? Or is it literally what it says and it goes randomly amongst all friendly characters, even if they're fully healed?
I don't think it'll heal them if they're already fully healed.
I don't know. I think that you could still have one of the droplets go and heal something that's fully healed. I think that is the determining factor for me, whether you run this over Healing Wave in your Control Shaman.
Well, you don't run this over Healing Wave. You run this alongside Healing Wave. I feel like Healing Wave is just straight up better because it's 3 mana, heal 14, and you can control it a bit more because it's always your face.
Well, the thing is, in Control Shaman, though, most of the time when you need to heal, you don't have minions on the board. So that's just a straight 12 for 3, which I find a little bit... It's more consistent rather than in that situation, rather than... You lose a joust against Big Priest, and you only heal for 7.
Yeah, that's fair. But still, having a Healing Wave number 3 and 4 is very strong.
Yeah,
I mean, at least the third one.
Yeah.
So I like this card quite a bit. Like, I like that Control Shaman in Standard is going to be a thing because of, they can have that in Azoth synergy going for them, and having more eyes on Azoth Shaman is always nice. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
I'm going to give it a little bit up from meh. 3/4
All right,
of the way.
that's fair. All right, Primal Talesman. Give your minions Death Rattle, summon a random basic totem.
Yeah, so this card is really... you need to know the next cards to understand this one. But I just don't think that this fits into any deck. You're not going to make the next combo that comes up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a similar sense, Soul of the Forest in Druid is a 4-mana spell that has Death Rattle summon 2/2s, and that's kind of similar just because there is Bloodlust coming along.
That's fair.
Like you play this on a wide board, you play it, and then they kill your first round, but they don't kill your second round, so you can still Bloodlust. Has some potential there, but the totem deck isn't going to be a thing.
No.
I'm just going to give this a straight thumbs down. I don't like it.
I'm going to disagree as well. Mostly because I like Aggro Shaman more than Token Shaman.
Alright, so Token Shaman, or the Totem Shaman. Alright, let's look at this one.
Yep, so we have the 5-mana 5/5 Windshear Stormcaller. Battlecry, if you control all 4 basic totems, summon Alakir the Windlord. Overall, as a card, I mean, obviously you're not going to get this card off very frequently, if at all. Although the effect of getting a free Alakir is nice, I just don't see it happening.
If it just said you win the game, I feel like it wouldn't break the game whatsoever. Like,
I think that's a different story. I think that you could definitely get it off, especially with all the support that it's getting. You can get it off.
Yeah,
you can get it off like turn 10, but by the time the amount of effort that you've put it into it and everything, like it's not worth it. You could have just played Alakir for 8 mana, and it's better than all the effort that you went through to get it.
There's so much going into this, and you actually have to have room for your Alakir because you're getting all these random basic totems, and all of a sudden you just don't have room because you have
that's true.
you have 6 basic totems, and then you play your Stormcaller. You're like, I don't have Alakir anymore. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Just bad.
No.
If it said win the game, that's the only way this card could have been playable.
Yeah, I agree. Now,
on the other
hand,
yeah.
On the other hand, we have Grumble, World Shaker, 6 mana, 7/7. Battle Cry. Return your other minions to your hand. They cost 1.
I don't know how to wrap my brain around this one.
Yeah,
it's so strange.
It's incredibly powerful, though. If you have 1-2 minions on board, typically they're relatively high cost because they're sticking around. Or their tokens. I mean, obviously you can have a totem stuck around, and those go in your hand. But if you can get like 1 or 2 minions to stick around on board and then play this, like, that's fantastic. I really like this card.
Well, so in say the only kind of control shaman that we have is like N'Zoth Shaman. I feel like you can't really play this in N'Zoth Reincarnate Shaman just because you kind of want those minions there. Like having a 6 mana 7/7 doesn't really do anything. I guess the best part about this is if those minions have battle cries themselves. So your like fire elementals, your other elemental that does 5 damage, those kinds of minions. I feel like are really what you're looking for with this card. But I think
this card makes
hard.
A mid-range shaman though. This makes a mid-range shaman list, mid-range elemental deck. That's
elementals.
Okay. Yeah, I think that this goes into the mid-range elemental deck, and that this probably pushes it into a viable deck.
I like that this one is actually an elemental himself. So you play this, and then your next turn you actually have your elementals going off, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Elemental shaman. Be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, she'll come eventually.
Oh yeah. So card rating slightly upturned from meh.
Yep, same exact place here.
Alright, Lesser Sapphire Spellstone is a 7 mana spell. Summon 1 copy of a friendly minion. Overload 3 mana crystals to upgrade. So this is most similar to Faceless Manipulator, which is also similar to the Druid legendary. So at its baseline, it's Faceless Manipulator, sort of. And then as you move up, you're going to be getting more and more value from it. I feel like once you get to 3, it's pretty insane. We do have to get there, and Overload is sort of easy, sort of hard. You don't naturally want to be playing your Overload to go off, but it's a thing.
What do you want to? The question that I have is, what do you want to copy with this?
Sludge Belcher.
But the thing, well, of course you want to. I want to copy Deathwing with this, but I'm not going to be able to get that off.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a very
on 7
normal.
mana. So you have to have something stick around on board for that to happen, right?
Yeah.
So what do you?
Well, say you play your Sylvanas, right? Your opponent doesn't necessarily want to kill Sylvanas, so it just stays around, and all of a sudden you play this.
Fair.
Boom! You have 4 Sylvanases. I've played enough N'Zoth Shaman that things do stick around, but the thing is, if things are sticking around, you probably are winning.
Yeah.
And if you're against Control Priest, things sticking around, like, this isn't going to save you because they're just going to Psychic Scream it. Sad day.
Yeah.
But the Overload isn't that hard to do just because we do have Elemental Destruction and a couple of pretty good Overload cards for that. So,
and that 2 mana one probably fits in a deck that you run this.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe a copy of one of in there.
Yeah, 1 copy of it just to get it more constantly. It's a solid card. It just is kind of hard to work around. And N'Zoth Shaman is still, like, this isn't going to help against anything N'Zoth Shaman isn't already good against. Yeah. Right.
See, well, I think this is more of a card for next rotation in Standard, so that they have the ability to create a control shaman without N'Zoth.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, most of the time it's just a win more card, so I'm going to give it a meh.
Yep, I'm a little bit lower than that, but I'm not directly thumbs down, but just pointing a little bit.
Speaking of thumbs down, the Rune Spear.
The Rune Spear.
8 mana, 3/3 weapon, legendary weapon for Shaman. After your hero attacks, discover a spell and cast it with random targets. Isn't Hearthstone so fun? RNG up the wazoo.
Yeah, Torcholan Primalist wasn't good. This isn't gonna be good.
It's so slow at that too. Like, why did they have to? They could have like made it like really good, like stat wise. Like make it like an 8 mana 7/3 or something. Like make it Goral.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's not. Yeah. So.
Yep, I'm just gonna go straight out now. Thumbs down.
Yeah, just down. Okay, cool. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, we can just skip it.
All right, but overall, Shaman looks sort of all right.
Yeah, Shaman's pretty good. Shaman's gotten some tools. They didn't do any free Shaman stuff, so I'm excited about that. No free Shaman.
There's some mid-range, there's some control, there's some token. So, you know, everything except for aggro, which no one really likes to aggro to be better. So, you know, Shaman's in a good place.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to Warlock. Dark Pact. 1 mana, destroy a friendly minion, restore 8 health to your hero.
That's a lot of heal.
Yeah, it is pretty good. And that is one of the things that Warlock, at least in Standard, has lacked. Obviously, we have Reno and
Healbot.
Yeah, and Healbot and Belcher and everything that does that. So we don't really need the heal.
But we like it.
Yeah, it's nice, but I don't know. It's interesting. You don't ever want to run this in like a zoo deck. My initial thought is like, oh, maybe you kill an egg or something with this and you get a 5/5. But I feel that maybe you play this with Implosion or something, so you have a 1/1 to kill off. But
there are so many ways. There's so many ways to like activate your eggs that you don't necessarily want to do this.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But maybe if you're just playing a whole bunch of minions that are dealing damage to yourself, like the 4 mana 5/6 that deals like 5 damage to yourself.
Pit Lord, yeah.
Pit Lord. So you can all of a sudden start playing Pit Lord in Zoo if you're because you're healing yourself for so much.
Yeah.
It's got something to it, but
and Pit Lord is also a what is that? That's a 4 attack minion or 4. Is that a 4 cost?
4 cost, yes.
Yeah. So now you can play it with that recruit, the neutral recruit that pulls any 4.
Yeah. So we've got some things going.
Yeah.
So
but
overall,
I'm
slightly above meh. Like
I'm thumbs down. It's not going to be realistic. I'm just straight thumbs down. I don't think it's realistically going to happen.
The card itself is very good, but there aren't decks really for it.
Yes, I feel that maybe eventually you come into some situation where you want this, but not for the next 2 expansions at least.
So next card, I'm just going to straight give 2 thumbs up. This card's great.
This goes in every Warlock deck ever for the rest of time.
Yeah. Like that's the simple solution. This card's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
All right, do we have to discuss it too much?
No, I think we just keep going. Yeah, let's just keep running through.
All right.
Yeah. This one's good as well. The Vulgar Homunculus, 2 mana, 2/4, taunt, battlecry, deal 2.
Yeah, you don't necessarily play it in every deck ever in Warlock, but
still, you play it a lot.
There.
Yeah, I'm similar. I would go as far to say this is 2 thumbs up as well.
Okay. I'm going to give 1 thumbs up, but I still want to talk about the card.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
So it's a demon with taunt, which is really huge for DK Gul'dan for cruel turns. This card has a lot going for it, as well as just plain old Zoo. It's a 2 mana 2/4, which taunt which is really good. Voidwalker is a good card. This is a really good card.
Yeah, definitely. It means you can't play Keleseth in Zoo anymore, though. So
true.
But I mean, but in Wild you have Nerubian Egg, and I've tried many times to cut Keleseth from Zoo I just don't like Keleseth in Zoo, personally. I've even tried playing Taldaram instead, so I played all the 2-drops.
Defile is just such a good card.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
It's hard to justify cutting Defile for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can now all of a sudden start running like full demon stuff. We've started to see some of that come into fruition, but now we really, it's kind of sealed for now. I think that full demon decks will really be one of the better decks, I think.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So yeah, thumbs up. I think we already did that, but
I'm 2 thumbs up on this. I think I'm 2 thumbs up. This goes in. I feel this goes in your Zoo deck. This goes in your control deck.
Do you play it in Reno Lock? Because I think it's almost there.
I think you.
The fact that we're saying that it's like almost playable in Reno Lock.
Yeah.
Talks about how good the card is.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. All right, Cataclysm. 4 mana, destroy all minions, discard your hand. It's so interesting.
Deathwing without the body.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see that if you break down Deathwing now, it's so 6 mana, 12/12 plus this effect. So now you realize how powerful Deathwing is in the eyes of the developers. Yeah.
This card's fancy.
Yeah. So now you don't have to play any discard. You can play Quest Warlock, and you don't have to run any discard cards that you don't want to. Yes. Right? You don't have to play any of the janky stuff where you play the Fellhound, and then get all your stuff, and you end up losing everything, and then you discard your quest. Yeah. So I feel that you just do this, and all the times like you've tried to build a controlling style quest. Quest Warlock, yeah.
So I always felt like the best way to build Quest Warlock was to do the control bit. So you play the quest and you play Deathwing and you play Curator. So you basically have 2 Deathwings because you have Curator and Deathwing. So you have some consistency. Always get it off. Now you have that going off on turn 4, and you can play 2 of this card. So got a lot going for it.
It's pretty interesting.
The thing is Quest Warlock going to be good?
I don't know. Probably not, but it'll definitely make the deck like into a deck. Rather than it'll be recognized. It'll be recognized as a deck, as opposed
we'll put it on the snapshot most likely.
We'll put it on the snapshot.
That's how good this card is. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up just for making a deck.
Yeah, this makes a deck. So that's good. I'll mirror you with that thumbs up.
All right. So next card is the revival of Handlock. Look at this one. Hooked Reaver. 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry. If you have 15 or less health, gain +3/+3 and taunt. So it's a 4 mana Molten Giant.
It's a 4 mana 7/7
with taunt.
Yeah.
How about that? Like, you don't have to try too hard to get the taunt off. It's just there. Boom.
Yeah.
And it's a demon.
So you can play around with your health a little bit more, just like Handlock. I think this is more geared towards Standard, though, because you don't have Reno. Because with Reno... Well, I mean, obviously you can fit this into a Reno deck. And if you're playing like a demon-style Reno deck, maybe you want to fit this in. But I don't know. I'm not so sure about the card, mostly because of the revival of Gul'dan, right? It's only a 4/4, and it's not the 7/7.
Yeah, I think we alluded to earlier with the Dark Pact is that you can play a whole bunch of deal damage to yourself in Zoo, and you can kind of heal yourself with Dark Pact as well. And maybe this just makes like a Reno Zoo a thing as well, or just plain deal damage to yourself Zoo with double Dark Pact. Because then you can all of a sudden actually play a 4 mana 7/7 in Zoo, maybe on turn 4.
Can you actually deal 15 damage to yourself over 4 turns?
Well, I mean, my aggro shaman opponent will help out.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, this card is really good. The fact that it's so versatile. You can play it in Handlock. You can play it in kind of demon lock thing. It's got a lot going for it. It's just kind of hard to really get it off.
Yeah, I just don't think it's consistent enough, but...
Okay. I'm far more enthusiastic. I'm just going to give it a thumb. I like it.
Oh, well, I'm 3/4 of the way down on this one.
Okay,
I'm over here.
I just feel like you're wrong there, but, you know.
I'm just not too excited about the card.
Well, we've had differentiating opinions about other things as well. So.
Yeah, sure.
Also, neither of us are the Warlock experts, so
yeah, that's fair as well. Yeah.
But yeah, yep, Lesser Amethyst Spellstone. It was a 4-mana spell with Lifesteal. Deal 4 damage to a minion, and then it will upgrade whenever you take damage from cards. And the second one is deal 5 damage Lifesteal, and the third version is deal 7 damage Lifesteal.
Yep. It is really easy now with all these cards that are coming out to deal damage to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the real question is, can you play this by itself? If you top deck this, 4 mana, 3 lifesteal.
Yeah.
This is that's similar. I compare that to Implosion, right? Just off the bat. Obviously, it's a little bit better to have the demon synergy and all that stuff, but this is on par with a mediocre Implosion. So even being able to upgrade this once you have it upgraded once and it does 5, like that's really good. And 7 is completely broken. So I feel that this definitely gets slotted in Reno Lock, in my opinion.
I think this gets slotted in a lot of decks. Just all the Zoo decks. I'm still alluding to that.
In
that
Zoo, you think this?
Damage?
I still don't know if that deal damage Zoo is actually going to be a thing.
Well, not just like pure deal damage to yourself, but you're playing 2 Kobold Librarians, 2 Vulgar Homunculuses, 2 Fire Element. No, not Fire Elemental. The Fire Imp guy.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of deal damage to yourself stuff out there.
The concern that I have is that this can't go face.
Yeah, for sure.
If this
none of
these
spellstones actually go face, which is really disappointing, because we like our Malagos lock or Malagos.
Yeah, right. Malay lock.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great card. Just kind of straight thumbs up.
I'm gonna thumbs up it as well.
I'm not so enthusiastic, but it's up there.
All right. 5 mana, 2/2, Possessed Lackey. Death Rattle, recruit a demon. Man, this card's gonna get this is gonna suck when it's gonna get Potion of Madness. I see that every single time I see something with 2 or less attack.
And a Death Rattle attached to it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a Death Rattle, it would be so good. And that's kind of the problem. It's like, okay, it would have been too good if it was a Battle Cry.
Yeah. I don't know. You compare this to Void Caller, right? Where Void Caller, you can curate your hand a little bit. So let's say I pull a Mal'Ganis and a Flame Imp from my hand. I can play my Flame Imp and guarantee that I get the Mal'Ganis. Whereas getting something from your deck is a little bit more random. You can have more things, though, but I don't know.
You do have to tailor your deck to it. And the problem is there are so many really good demons early on. So yeah, we do have Mal'Ganis, but the fact that this is a Death Rattle, so your opponent will likely be able to decide how it goes.
Yeah,
is sort of iffy. Also, 5 mana, 2/2.
Yeah, 5 mana is just not enough. I don't think. I think that you put this at 4, maybe we're talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a slight downturn.
I'm just giving it a straight thumbs down. I don't think it sees play.
Yeah, that's fair. There is a lot of potential with it, so I just want to I have a lot of faith in it.
Sure. Skull of the Manari, the Warlock weapon, 5 mana, 0/3. At the start of your turn, summon a demon from your hand.
This is so slow.
Yeah.
Oh, why did it have to be at the start of your turn?
Yeah. If anyone's running weapon removal, this card gets destroyed every time.
I mean, just at any point, this card's so slow. Like, it might as well just say at the end of your next turn have this effect. I feel like that would even be a better effect because, like, you can splice out your hand for all the bad demons that turn, and then you can guarantee that you get your good demon. But the fact that you have to do all this stuff for it, and then you're just gonna get oozed to begin with, right? So
yeah,
I wanted to like this card so much, and it disappointed.
Yeah, you do have to be running a critical mass of demons as well with this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that you just have to play a straight demon deck, whereas I feel that some other cards are more powerful than demons in Warlock.
I feel like you only play the good demons. This is kind of similar to Possessed Lackey, where you don't play any of the bad demons. You just play the good demons.
Well, yeah, but you have to play a lot of them, though, right? You can't play something like the current zoo lists where you're only running a couple. You have to run a lot of demons for this to be any. I mean, if this pulls one from your hand, like I said before, you compare those with Void Caller. Void Caller is like the comparison card for a lot of these, and Void Caller is just broken compared to all of them.
For sure. All right, so this is just down for me.
Yeah, I'm going with the same thing, straight.
Like, I wish I could give it like worse. Like, can I have like 2 downs just for?
Yeah, for this one, you can give it two thumbs down.
Down, 2 thumbs down. Had so much potential. Anyway, Rin, the first disciple.
Speaking of 2 thumbs down.
6 mana, 3/6 taunt, death rattle. Add the first seal to your hand. So.
Oh yeah, let's pull up the seals.
Do you want to explain how this works?
Yeah, sure. So you get 1 seal, and it's the first seal. So you summon a 2/2 demon, and then you get a 5 mana seal again, which summons a 3/3 demon, and then it keeps going 4/4. 5/5 until you get the final seal, which summons the 6/6, and then you put Azari the Devourer in your hand, which is 10 mana, 10/10. Destroy your opponent's deck.
It should have just said you win the game.
Yeah,
you go through all of that stuff. Win the game, please.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. This is gonna be a fun. This is gonna be a card I like to see on Trollden once in a while, but that's about it. Double thumbs down for me. This is
it does have taunt card. And death rattle, so N'Zoth is happy, but no.
No.
Yeah, no. It is a long shot. Anyway, Void Lord is a 9 mana 3/9 demon. Taunt, death rattle, so N'Zoth is happy. Summon 3 1/3 demons with taunt. Those 1/3 demons are Void Walkers.
Yep. This is overall a good card. This is like the anti-aggro card for Warlock. If you're ever running into an issue, you just put up a giant wall, put it down. This also has some interesting with one of the legendaries coming up in the neutral set. This has some interesting applications that I like.
Yeah, that one's a really good card when we get to it. So
yeah,
I'm pretty happy for that one. So yeah, it has 3 attack. So keep an eye out for that. Nothing else to it. It's a really big demon. So there's a lot of big demon synergy stuff. So Cruel, you don't have to pay the mana cost for this demon really. So you play Cruel. You play what is it? Void Caller.
Void Caller.
Right?
Yeah. You play those 2, and then you just play that. You get if you cheat this out onto the board, it's great. So that's pretty much it. You want to cheat this out, and in worst case scenario, you play it for 9 against aggro, and you stop them.
Yeah. So it's a slight downturn from full thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same exact spot there. I feel that that's around where it is.
Okay. I'm not so sure that this is actually going to see play, just because it does cost so much, but it's got a lot going for it.
Yep. All right, on to Warrior. Bladed Gauntlet, 2 mana, 0/2, has attack equal to your armor, can attack heroes. I actually like this card a lot. I play a good amount of Warrior, and this is like a control warrior. Some of the cards that you want for control warrior. But the thing is, this isn't like a replacement for Fiery War Axe. No. But this is something that you use. I consider it more like an auxiliary shield slam, Whereas you can shield slam normally for 1 mana, but this time you can shield slam with your weapon essentially. And when you're playing wild control warrior, you have Justicar. So even if you're down to 0 health, you armor up and you have this weapon, it's 4 attack onto anything. So I feel that that's good enough.
Yeah, I liken this card much more to Gorehowl because it's like a kind of a late game deal damage card, but it costs 2 mana. Like a 2 mana Gorehowl that it only goes off twice, but still 2 damage 2 mana Gorehowl. That's gotta do something at the very least. And there's so much armor game in Warrior at the moment, especially with our next card.
Yeah, definitely. Oh wait, we didn't do ratings. Yeah, I'm just gonna give this a thumbs up.
Yeah, just straight thumbs up. I don't know why people are kind of like talking down on this card. It's a good card.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I think this is one of the better cards for Warrior. But that's also because we're in Wild too. Right, so Control Warrior is a little bit more viable than it is in Standard.
Yeah, that might have some implication on why we like it so much because we do have just.
Yep.
Anyway, Warrior's not going to be having too many problems with getting armor with our next card, Dry Whisker Armor. It's a 2 mana 2/2 battle cry. For each enemy minion, gain 2 armor. Wow, that's a card.
What's the minion that heals you? That has the same effect for like 4 mana?
The 5 mana 4/4.
Yeah, the 5 mana 4/4 that has the same effect. He's crying in a corner right now.
Well, so that card was basically supposed to replace Healbot for Standard when Healbot got removed. So I feel like you should liken this more to Healbot, and then you're like, wow, this is just so much better than Healbot.
Yeah, oh, exactly. That's a good comparison. And the big thing with the armor is good because it's armor and you can utilize that as a warrior, but this also does well in the decks against the decks that you need it to, which is against token decks, where you need that armor. You need that armor against like token druid or token shaman, and you just play this, and then you get you use your opponent spreading the board to your advantage.
So I think this card just belongs in anything that isn't Pirate Warrior. So even like Tempo Warriors, like we've seen those ones before, Control Warriors, like Fatigue Warriors. Just all around great card. You might even see it in Pirate Warrior just as anti-Pirate Warrior tech.
Yeah, right. Yep. Thumbs rating. I'm definitely.
It's kind of a nuts card.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up just because it's gonna see play in Control Warrior forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, sure. All right, moving on. We have.
So what can you do with all of that armor that you get? You might ask.
Yeah. So you spend your armor for 3 mana, and you deal that damage to all minions, which is fantastic. This is a better brawl essentially, but you have to go in and the issue is you have the caveat of you have to have armor. But if you just armor up and then play your Reckless Flurry, especially if you have the Justicar hero power, like this can clear any like small board, which is the issue that Control Warrior has.
Yes, my problem is that it does destroy all of your armor, which is a serious issue because you worked up all this time just to get all this armor, and then like you don't really need to spend all of your armor. Like you're like, oh, I only need to spend 4 armor, but yet you're spending like 12 armor, and then all of a sudden it's kind of a useless card.
Yeah, I still think it's a good card though. I think that it'll definitely see play at least as a one of, maybe alongside.
Yes, I like this card specifically as a one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for the longest time we saw Bronza in Control Warrior. Now we're moving up to 2. Maybe we start needing 3. Maybe we start needing 4 Brawl. This is our third and fourth.
Yeah, this is the 3rd and 4th Brawl. Alrighty,
so
thumbs up.
Slight downturn from full thumbs up.
Yep, exact same spot.
Quality card.
So Kobold Barbarian at the start of
yeah.
3 mana 4/4 at the start of your turn, attack a random enemy. So I don't really have much to say about this card. I feel this is more like a, I don't know. This is more like an arena pack.
This will never see play.
Yeah, you could do this if you want to dodge a taunt, and it'll dodge a taunt and go face, because it picks a random enemy, so it can dodge taunt.
Yes.
But that's the only function that it has.
I've played a lot of Ogre Warmaul in my day. I've played a lot of Ogre Warmaul in my day, and this is like Ogre Warmaul the card. Except we do have actual Ogre, a 4/4 Ogre that has a 50% chance of hitting the wrong minion. That's just better.
Yeah.
Because you 50% of the time you're hitting the minion they actually. Yeah, this card will never see play.
No, it will not. Thumbs down.
Sad day.
Yep.
So recruit is a thing this expansion, and
gather your
our baseline recruit thing is a 6 mana gather your party, recruit a minion in warrior.
So
is this useful in warrior? Like, is a big warrior deck going to be a thing?
I don't think that a big warrior deck is necessarily a thing. See, they gave us cards to build around that, right? I'm not sure that it's necessarily going to be a thing because you have such better synergies in Wild, like N'Zoth. N'Zoth is horrible with this card. So I feel that N'Zoth is the best finisher you're ever going to have for a while in Warrior as like a value type of thing. And typically when you're playing big decks, you're going for value, like early value. And I think that gather your party, unless you have some shenanigans that you're trying to pull off with it, some meme here or there, I don't foresee this being a wild card. This might go and help control Warrior in Standard, but I don't see this in Wild.
Yeah, the entire recruit warrior thing is, so I'm just going to give it a thumbs down. I think warrior is potentially one of the decks that could do this just because they have so much removal, but you do have to play some minions, and you do want to be playing this off. Just thumbs down.
Yep. Moving along, Gem-Studded Golem, taunt, 6 mana, 5/9, can only attack if you have 5 or more armor. So this is a pretty good minion. It's overstatted, and
we've seen this card.
Wait, have we seen this card?
Oh no, we saw the 4 mana 3/6 taunt for Druid.
Oh yeah, no, this is the this was in the Facebook
very
release.
Similar.
Yeah. See, the big thing that I mean, whenever you're playing a taunt in Warrior, you really don't care about attacking. You're either playing this taunt in Warrior to complete the taunt quest because you're playing Taunt Warrior, which at the moment doesn't have enough support for Wild because Control Warriors are straight up better. And when you have
there's too many Death Rattle minions for it to work.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that you're not really trying to attack, you're trying to defend yourself from aggro with this card. So the can't attack isn't really relevant on taunts. I really like that they've done this. That having taunts that can't attack is a very good design.
Yes.
And I'm surprised they haven't touched that earlier, to be honest.
Yeah, because we've been playing Eerie Statue. Well, what's the 2 mana 4/5 can't attack?
That is.
So we've been trying to give
Ancient Watcher, yeah. Yeah, that was the old handlock.
So we've been playing Ancient Watcher deck. So we've been playing Ancient Watcher decks and trying to give them taunts for so long. Just make it a 3 mana card, and like let us not.
Yeah, exactly.
Go through that kind of effort, but you know we're happy with this.
Yep.
Although I don't think this is playable in Wild in particular.
No, I don't believe that this is either. This is mostly for Standard because they still have the quests for Taunt Druid. Or Taunt Warrior, rather. This is to give Taunt Warrior a little bit of power. But yeah, I'm overall giving it just because it's wild. I'm giving it a little bit higher than thumbs down because it's a good card, but you're just not going to see it.
Yeah. Unidentified Shield. The third in the Unidentified trilogy. Gain 5 armor and gain a bonus effect.
Yep, so those bonus effects
are
yep,
you can gain 10 more armor. You go.
Yeah, I got it. So we have the golem over here. We get the 5/5 golem. We have the deal 5 damage. We have equip a 5/2 weapon, and we have gain 10 more armor. So this is an interesting card, at least for Warrior, in my mind, because obviously in Wild we have the Shield Master. What's
Shield
the name?
Maiden.
Shield Maiden, yeah. We have Shield Maiden, which
Shield Maiden.
Yes. It's run as a at least the last time I saw Scorpion playing Control Warrior, he was running that as a one-of. So I feel that is the best option out of these four, especially for what your position is. Being able to put the minion on board and get the armor is good. But the only reason I would see this ever seeing play in Wild is if you wanted to get rid of that, if you didn't want to play that as a minion, if you wanted to play that effect as a spell. So if you were playing something like the big warrior, this card goes over Shield Maiden. But otherwise, I mean, it would be it's exactly the same thing. It's a functional reprint of the Ruin Shield version. So I think that Ruin Shield's the best one out of them. Why not put that actual card into your deck as opposed to this one? The only time you ever play this is if Big Warrior becomes a thing, so you don't just pull out a 5/5. So yeah. That's my opinion on the card.
Big Warrior isn't going to be a thing though. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Big Warrior will not be a thing, so I'm giving it a thumbs down as well. Now for onto the Spellstone for Warrior, Lesser Mithril Spellstone. 7 mana, summon 1 5/5 Mithril Golem. Equip a weapon to upgrade. So then when you equip another weapon, you get a second 5/5, and then on the third weapon, you get the third one. Why?
So this card has, I think, some potential in Tempo Warrior, just because it's kind of similar to Dr. Boom in a way, where you're getting 3 different guys. So 15/15 for 7. It's not that crazy to get 2 weapons, so it does have to stay in your hand for quite a long time. But it's if you were able to get it off as your top end in Tempo Warrior, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of Tempo Warrior. I was just thinking of this. This, in my mind, is a card that you give to standard players when N'Zoth rotates out, and the Control Warrior players have no real like value finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's certainly got a lot of stats for it. So.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Summoning 7 mana deal. Get the 3 5/5s. It's definitely worth it. But I think that's just too slow in the current Control Warrior. Wait, you have this off. Yep. All right. So for me, I'm going to give this. Yeah, I'm actually giving this one. I'm giving this a thumbs down.
All right. I was going to give it slightly down from meh, or kind of like 1/4 of the way. It has something there, but it's kind of weak just because playing 2 weapons is actually kind of hard.
Yeah. All right, on to the Warrior.
But we do have another card. We have an 8 mana.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so 8 mana, 4/8 Warrior Legendary Geosculptor Yip. At the end of your turn, summon a random minion with a cost equal to your armor up to 10. So it's
It's a value card, and I mean, I don't know. I would much rather be playing cards that maybe I'm too fixated on having N'Zoth Warrior, but I don't see this as being a finisher. I'd much rather play Grom and then whack my opponent down as opposed to this card. This is just for gaining more value.
Even Rot Face, I feel like, has a it's just, you just want to be playing good cards in your Control Warrior. You don't Geosculpture yet.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I don't really feel
thumbs down.
It's spectacular. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic, not directly at the halfway point, a little bit below that, but that's about where it is. And on to the Warrior legendary weapon, Woe Cleaver, which is an 8-mana 3/3. After your hero attacks, recruit a minion. So yeah.
We've said before that we don't think that the Warrior deck will be a thing, so I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because you have to run so many, especially in Wild, when you have the early game minions are much more powerful than the early game spells. So things like Armor Smith, things like that 2-mana Taunt card, like playing Woe Cleaver, you don't want to accidentally pull out a 2/2. So I just feel that your Warrior builds are never going to run this. So I'm giving it a fat thumbs down.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, if I can just 2 thumbs down, boom. I just don't think Recruit is going to be a thing in Warrior. At least not this expansion.
Yep. Okay,
so we're done with all of the classes.
We're done with all the classes, so now let's move on to the neutrals. And we've taken a lot of time, so let's... On the neutrals that are relatively simple, let's just pass over them quickly. But this one is not something simple.
First one.
The first one, Dire Mole. While it may be a vanilla card, a 1-mana 1/3 beast, this is actually a very good card.
Yeah. So we've seen the 1-mana 2/2 in Druid be successfully played in Token Druid. That's not really a problem. And now you just have somewhat better stats. You have a 1-mana 1/3 in Druid as well as Hunter. I think that's really key.
Yeah, being able to play this in Hunter.
You have a lot going for this card.
Yeah, this is a very good card. While it's a common, and it's like this is probably one of the better cards too. Like, I feel you run this alongside your whatever the 1-mana 2/2 is in the Token Druid, but this one's just this one trumps that one. This one comes in as the stronger card.
Yeah, I believe that as well. So, 2 thumbs up. I love this card.
I was going with 1, but I definitely think this is a 2 thumbs up card. All right, moving along.
All right, so we have Wax Elemental. This is a mini. What is it? Noitron for 1 mana. That's about it. It's elemental as well. Could be played in Token Druid just because you do want.
Yeah, that was my thought as well.
Sorry, it seems like we have lag.
Yeah, you're slowing down a little bit over here. Okay, well, can you hear me?
Okay, so
are you there?
Could we have a... Yes. I'm going to disconnect, and then we can start the neutral commons all over again.
Okay, cool.
After I reconnect.
Sure.
All right, am I in?
Yes, you're back. Let me just double check that we're still going. All right, cool. There you are.
All right, so we can start off the neutral commons once again.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's back it up. All right. So Dire Mole, 1-mana 1/3. Yeah, this is a really good card.
Yeah, so this card, so we've seen a 1-mana 2/2 beast be a playable card in Token Druid, be a very strong card in Token Druid. This is a 1-mana 1/3 beast. That's just better.
Yep. Pretty much.
So, well, not only in Token Druid, but we also have Hunter as well. So the beast tag is really important there. I'm not really sure how good that is, but Hunter definitely needs some good 1-drop minions, and this is a good 1-drop beast for them.
Yeah.
So
I think that this is better than Alley Cat. I think this is probably better than Alley Cat, right? 1 mana, 1/3 as opposed to 1 mana. The 2 tokens. I think this is better than Alley Cat.
It's on the same tier as Alley Cat, so I'm just gonna straight give this a 2 thumbs up. I really like the card. One of the best neutral commons in this set.
Yep. Wax Elemental, 1 mana, 0/2 Taunt Divine Shield. So yeah, very good keywords, Taunt and Divine Shield on a 1 mana minion. So just being able to, if this ever gets buffed, right, it's just broken. So it may, I don't know. Does this find a spot in Token Druid?
Token Druid is certainly a really tight deck.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure you can really justify this. Like, is it that much better than, say, Argent Squire, which doesn't see play in the deck?
But I mean, Argent Squire almost sees play. You compare that with Firefly, right? So Firefly currently sees play. This could maybe fill in the spot of Firefly if it's better.
Yeah, like, I feel like
Firefly is comparable with Argent Squire. This is comparable with Argent Squire on the other side.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of falls into the tier of Argent Squire, where it's not good enough. But it's a quality card. I'm glad they printed it.
Yep.
It's a Baby Annoytron. Number 2. Yep. Next we have Plated Beetle. Oh, sorry. Should we give a thumbs rating?
No, yeah. That's fine. I'm
gonna give it a meh.
I'm gonna give it a little bit higher than that. I'm giving it a thumbs up a little bit more.
All right. So next we have Plated Beetle. It's a 2 mana 2/3. Death Rattle, gain 3 armor. So for those druids that really want 3 armor, you have an option. But
I think you play this in druid. You don't play this in warrior.
No.
You have better armor tools in warrior.
But it is armor in neutral spot, so I feel like that's kind of noteworthy.
Yeah, neutral health gain is always good. But you also don't have as much control over it because it's a Death Rattle.
So, your beast for control hunter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm just going to give this a thumbs down.
Yeah, that is a thumbs down as well, yeah. And we can speak through these that are
Boisterous Bard is a 3 mana 3/2. Battlecry, give your other minions +1 health. I'm just going to give it some thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down. Next one. Dragon Slayer. This is an interesting one. 3 mana 4/3. Battlecry, deals 6 damage to a dragon. So this is like the Galaka Crawler for dragons. For at least mid-range dragons, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, obviously it's not going to go and kill a Ysera, because they realize that anything, if you made a crab for dragons, like, that would be really broken. But something like Dragon Slayer, where you deal 6 damage to a dragon, gets rid of every single mid-range dragon except for what's the one in Warrior that gains +3/+3.
It's 6 mana 9/9.
Yeah,
that one.
That one. But besides that, all of the mid-range dragons get killed by this. So this is like the anti-dragon.
Kobold Scalebane.
Yeah.
It kills Kobold Scalebane, and that's why this card is a meh tier.
Yeah, this is a tech card. You run into a lot of Dragon Priest, you play this.
For sure. Fungal Enchanter is a 3 mana 3/3. Battlecry, restore 2 health to all friendly characters. So it's slightly better than Earthen Ring Farseer in a way,
but you have to have more minions on board, whereas Earthen can typically be used for spot heal. But how often is Earthen actually played?
Exactly, so I'm just going to give it a thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Kobold Apprentice, 3 mana 2/1, Battlecry, deal 3 damage, randomly split amongst all enemies. Yeah.
Is this interesting enough? Like, I like Mad Bomber, and this is like sort of a better Mad Bomber, but
worse stats. Worse stats.
Can't even hit
mana cost. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even hit your own like Acolyte Banes.
No, I think it's a thumbs down. That's just
a thumbs down. All right, Sewer Crawler is a 3 mana 1/1 with a Battlecry. Summon a 2/3 giant rat. This card
this is a reverse Razorfin Hunter. Thumbs down.
Ooh, that's fancy. Razorfin Hunter does not see play, so I'm just gonna give it a thumbs down.
Yes. Stone Skin Basilisk, 3 mana 1/1, Divine Shield Poisonous. Now this has some merit. It is a beast. This has some merit to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting card.
It's really hard to get rid of the Divine Shield like with your weapon or through spells. So you are going to be able to get this poisonous off most of the time. It's sort of like the Wasp from Ungoro, which is a 3-mana 2/2 poisonous stealth. I feel like this is kind of sort of better in many cases. It's not a 2/2, but it's a 1/1, but it's still it's going to be killing stuff. So good arena card, bad constructed card.
Yes, I mean Wasp is seeing a little bit of play in standard at the moment. So I mean I'm still going to give it a thumbs down, but like in wild, yes, but it has some things. I'm going to be interested for when they combine those 3 keywords, when they have stealth, divine shield, and poisonous. So that'll be interesting.
Just get rid of the beast tag, and then it'll be fun. But anyway, great arena card. But
that'll be a good one.
That's about it.
Yep. Toothy Chest, 3 mana, 0/4. At the start of your turn, set this minion's attack to 4. So this is a meme card. I mean, you look at Validated Doomsayer, and like for everyone who's saying, "Oh, you can pull this off of Meat Wagon," you can play Validated Doomsayer in that deck, and that's much better than this. And that doesn't happen. So unless we hit at some critical mass of Meat Wagon targets, I don't think this ever sees play.
Also, if you're trying to play Meat Wagon, just play eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thumbs down, but it's interesting at the very least.
Yeah.
Cursed Disciples, a 4-mana 5/1 with a Death Rattle, summon a 5/1 Revenant. Quest Druid is a thing, possibly.
Oh, that's fair. Does the Death Rattle count towards your quest?
Yes, it does.
So it's summon 5/1. Okay, so that probably helps out a little bit in Quest Druid.
Yes, so I'm just gonna say straight thumbs up. You play it in Quest Druid, that's about it, but you do play it in it.
Yeah, but how much is Quest Druid played over Ramp Druid?
These are commons, or these are neutral cards.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it halfway. I'm giving it a meh, but because of that. Otherwise, I mean, it's 2 Magma Ragers.
Yeah, it's not a good card in any other thing, but in Quest Druid,
it does have some application. Yeah,
I'm not sure if you play 2 of it, but
yeah.
Anyway,
Hoarding Dragon, 4 mana 5/6 Death Rattle. Give your opponent 2 coins.
Yikes. I like this card way too much.
You like it?
I love this card, but I also play a lot of Pirate Warrior, but with dragons. So you basically play Pirate
Warrior.
Yes, but very aggressive. So you play Alexstras's Champion, or you play Pirate Warrior, and you get rid of 6 cards. You play Alexstras's Champion, you play Fairy Dragon, you play 3 more dragons. So right now you're trying to distinguish between like Cobalt Scalebane, Hungry Dragon, which isn't good enough, and then also the 6 mana 9/9 dragon. Yep. So right now you're just playing, or I'm just playing 2 Cobalt Scalebanes and the 6 mana 9/9. This card seems really good in that deck.
But the issue that I find with that is that you play this on turn 4, your opponent has 2 coins and they can use it to use their board clear, right?
No, but it's a Death Rattle.
Oh, so they have to kill it. You're right. Okay.
Yes, that's why it's a lot better than
That is better. That's better than I thought. Okay. I can see that.
So
you've convinced me on this.
It is a Death Rattle. That's basically the only deck it can ever be played in is a very aggressive dragon deck, which kind of doesn't exist, but you can do it. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
I'm going to give it a meh. I'm going to give it a meh because it fits into a deck that may exist.
So, fair enough.
Moving along, Shroom Brewer.
Is a 4 mana 4/4 with a battle cry, restore 4 health. It's not good.
No, it's better than whatever the funnel cake guy is.
Is a 4/4 better than a 5/5 or a 3/5?
Against Priest, it is.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but no one runs that card anyway. That's the whole thing. That was only when you didn't have enough cards to run in Reno Lock.
Okay, so thumbs down.
That is a thumbs down, but it does have some application.
There's a slight edge because Reno Lock exists. So.
Yep. All right, moving along. Sneaky Devil, 4 mana, 2/2 stealth. Your other minions have +1 attack. That's interesting.
Has Raid Leader ever seen play?
No.
Does this having a demon tag make any difference?
You can pull it out of your deck with this demon shenanigans that you've been talking about, but I don't think that necessarily is going to happen.
Okay. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down. I'm not sure if you have anything else about it.
Yeah, I'm thumbs down as well. I don't agree. Or I do agree. Corrosive Sludge, 5 mana, 5/5, battle cry, destroy your opponent's weapon. I have one comment on this. This was included because the free-to-play players are going to complain when they don't have Harrison Jones and they don't have ooze removal at 5. So that's why this card exists.
Yes, there's already like 6 other oozes, but, have another one.
Yeah. All right.
I'm glad it exists because free-to-play players will complain, right?
Yes, so. They will. And I will have this answer. Oh, just put this card in instead of, oh, what ooze do you want to play?
Yeah. Fungal Mancer is a 5 mana 2/2 battle cry. Give adjacent minions +2/+2.
So
that's
you compare
like
this to
Defender of Argus?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Defender of Argus, but when you're playing Defender of Argus, you're not playing for the buffs, you're playing for the taunts most of the time. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, even for 1 mana more, I don't think this is worth it. I don't think this is a good card.
Yeah, at best it's a 5 mana 6/6. Yeah. And going through all those hoops to get that, it's a thumbs down.
Yep, thumbs down.
So we have a mini Hogger in a 5 mana 3/3 green jelly. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/2 ooze with taunt.
Yep. How often does Hogger see play?
Nope, hasn't.
Yep.
But this is a discounted Hogger. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, but it's a cheaper body, so you can get through it. You can kill it easier than you can kill Hogger. Hogger at least is a little bit resilient to Priest.
Oh, true. So I'm gonna give this a thumbs down. But
yeah, I'm gonna agree. But it's a cool card. Like,
yes. I'm glad they printed it at the common level because if Hogger ever sees play again, there's an option.
Exactly. All right, Guild Recruiter, 5 mana 2/4, recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. I wonder where we've seen something like this before. This is this might as well be a druid card, right? This might as well. You know what? I'm gonna take that back. You can definitely play it in other decks, but this is definitely going into that druid deck. You're going to play this in that druid deck where you recruit all the stuff. So
I particularly like it in any Fin Paladin because you can recruit out your Murlocs, and now you just don't have to worry about them anymore. It's sort of like Finja. Sort of like Finja, except Finja is really good.
Well, no, you run this along with Finja, right? So you just get more consistency about getting all that stuff out quicker now.
But yeah, how much better? Like, I'm not sure how much better it is than Finja to see play, how much worse.
Well, I think you run them in conjunction. You run the 5
for sure,
the 3/5 drops.
Yeah, but yeah, it's got a lot of potential. So I'm gonna give it a meh. I'm not really sure where it sees play.
Yeah,
but it's got to, right?
Yeah, and it might, even if it's in some wonky shaman deck where it pulls out 4 mana 7/7s, like that's cool.
For sure. So you have that that Spellstone deck, right? So you play the 3 mana 2/8 with Overload. You play the 4 mana 7/7. That's all you really need for this to be really good. So
yeah, that's
actually I'm just gonna give a thumbs up because it's a neutral card that's actually somewhat decent.
Yeah, sure. We had a conversation about it, so it's worth giving a thumbs up. Trog Gloomeater, 5 mana 1/5, taunt and poisonous. I like to say every single time they put poisonous on a card, the attack doesn't matter. So
true.
But well, in this case it does because it can be potioned at Badness. I keep pointing that out. But essentially it's a pseudo infinity attack.
It's the third version of Myexna.
Yes, they're trying to get a version of it to work. It didn't work the first time. They tried it with some card last expansion, I think, but I've never seen the card before. And now they do.
This isn't going to be too much different. So,
although the taunt, I'm going to bring up a point that the taunt is going to at least clear any minion that runs into it. So if you play this against aggro, you guarantee to trade off any minions that play into it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, obviously it's not as good as a Sludge Belcher. There are better cards.
Or a snail.
Yeah. Or no, a snail will absorb 1 hit from 1 minion. This takes up 2.
Potentially.
2 small minions. You're playing against some tokens or something.
So regardless, I'm giving.
Yeah, no, I agree, but there's some merit to the card.
Okay.
Not for constructive.
Silver Vanguard is a 7-mana 3/3 with a Death Rattle, recruit an 8-cost minion. You can just play the 8-cost minion.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see anything with this. The only time
I would play Death Rattle. I'm not sure if that makes a difference.
The only difference that I would see is if you're playing like Barnes and then you get this, so you just summon the straight 8/8. But yeah, I don't see anything going along with this.
I think this is a really fun card, especially in Arena.
Wait a second. You can play this with the Hunter thing that copies your Death Rattle.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting too if you just get.
True, because
that will recruit the 8-cost minion, and your 8-cost minion in that deck is the thing that recruits the
beasts.
Yeah.
So, Death Rattle.
So this is similar in my mind to when you play in Paladin the it's not Corpse Taker, it's the Taunt Divine Shield.
Oh, yes.
This is similar to when you sneak a Wind Fury minion into a deck, and you're not... Like, when you play Stormwatcher in a deck just so you get Wind Fury for it, this would be for that Death Rattle minion. Like, it has... I don't think that that's good, but it's a thought. But also, you realize
something more than every other neutral that we've talked about, so I'm going to give it a meh.
Yeah, I am as well. But to be fair, when I went into thinking about that card, I never thought that you would put a Wind Fury minion in your deck to go and benefit that as well. So there are some times when stuff like that will happen. Alrighty, so Violet Worm, 8-mana 7/7, Death Rattle, summon 7/1/1 grubs.
Good Arena card, I think.
Yeah. I mean, this is about on power... This is like a Nixia, right? You compare this to a Nixia, where you get the 1/1s, and obviously you get that all on board for 2 mana more. But having it as a Death Rattle, right? You clear the board, you kill this minion, and your board will have tokens. So that's interesting.
Yes. So you play this, the next turn it dies. You have both a board full of 1/1s, and you play Cenarius on that. So you have 3/3s everywhere. It's great.
Yeah.
Still,
I want to. Yeah, I agree as well.
But it's fun.
All right.
And Sleepy Dragon is a 9-mana 4/12. 4 attack is pretty important, and it has taunt. So
this is a cool card.
Yeah.
I find this to be the card that you don't necessarily put in your deck, but you're incredibly happy to get off of Netherspite Historian.
Like, it's like one of those, I don't know, like Bog Creeper, I think, is the 7-mana 6/8, and you're like, that's like just a fantastic card. This kind of falls under that kind of tier of, it's a good card, but it'll never see play. I mean, well, Bog Creeper, if it was like 2 mana or less, it'd be Bog Creeper good, but...
Yeah. I'm actually pretty happy that this is like the vanilla minion that is given out. You know how each expansion has one vanilla minion that really goes through? It doesn't really have much. This is that card, so I'm pretty impressed.
Why is it not a dragon?
I did realize that, and I'm disappointed. Wait, well, no, you can't get this off of Netherspite Historian now. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! This is
maybe it really card. Is a dragon.
Thumbs down.
Just...
Thumbs down. No, this is auto thumbs down. Then you can't get it off from Netherspite Historian. No.
Maybe our visuals are just wrong, and it's actually.
I would hope. I would hope
that a sleeping dragon is a dragon.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Ysera, right? For free-to-play players.
Yeah. Right.
Moving on to the rares. Oh yeah, we did thumbs down. Boom.
Yeah, that was a thumbs down as soon as it's not a dragon. Feral Gibberer. 1 mana, 1/1. After this minion attacks a hero, add a copy of it to your hand.
Do we need to talk about it?
No. I was going to say,
I'm just going to say thumbs down.
Yeah,
Lots of people talk about Token Druid with it, right? But do you really want to?
The only thing is Hobgoblin, but meh.
Yeah.
All right.
Anywho.
Move on. Oh god. Gravel Snout Knight. 1 mana, 2/3. Battle Cry. Summon a random 1-cost minion for your opponent.
So I've played a lot of Hungry Dragon. Hungry Dragon's only good because it's a dragon to begin with, and it's not even good in that. One cost minions are actually really big, so this is just not good, I don't think.
Is there any merit to ever play this in a deck when you know you're going to be running MC Tech? So your opponent...
That's a lot. That's a lot of hoops.
If you get into a meta where MC Tech becomes a staple, right?
Okay.
In some situation where MC Tech becomes a staple, you play this as a tech card because everyone's going to play around MC Tech.
Okay, so you say Bran, double this, double Bran, you steal the 1-cost minions. It's great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have a better chance of stealing their minions. So, I don't know. I feel that this...
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that happens, but we'll see.
Okay, so we had a conversation about it, so I'm going to rate it meh.
Yeah, meh. We had a conversation.
Yeah.
Scorpomatic. 2 mana.
Scorpion's a card. Look at that.
Yeah, I know, right? 2 mana, 1/2. Battle Cry. Destroy minion with 1 or less attack. It's a mech. Oh, wow. What a tag.
They have to print a mech every single one, just to remind us that GVG exists.
Yeah. How good is destroying a 1 or less attack minion?
So I think we have to talk about this card particularly in mech decks, right? Like on its own, probably just terrible in standard, but when it costs 1 mana, is that good?
When it costs 1 mana, I think you play this. For 2 mana, I don't think it's good enough. The only thing is, like, there's one specific 0-cost... I mean, like, all the 0-cost minions. Like, Doomsayer, you'd like to have this, but... I mean, the current way to deal with that is Crazed Alchemist. So what 1-attack minion would you rather play this over Crazed Alchemist?
I don't know.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there may be some niche situation where it's like a must-kill thing. You sneak this in as a tech card.
Yeah, but if you're trying to kill, like, I don't know, patches for example, you're gonna just play like Galaka Crawler.
Yeah, that's true.
Not really sure how many more like 1-attack minions there are. I think they could have been a little bit more risky and made this a 2/3.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, without that, it's kind of just bad, even in mech decks. So, yeah. Thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down. Until they do the expansion where all mech numbers add 3. Lone Champion.
Ooh.
Now, this is a card. So, 3 mana, 2/4, Battle Cry. If you control no other minions, gain Taunt and Divine Shield.
So, I think a lot of people have been talking about this card, particularly in Reno Lock, just because you're not necessarily playing minions up until turn 3, and then you play this, it's almost better than, what is it called? Tar Creeper. Or at least it's a second version of Tar Creeper for your Reno Lock.
Yeah.
So it's a decent card.
Yep. I mean, and playing a 3 mana 2/4, if you already have stuff on board and you're trying to pressure, something's not horrible. You could probably fit an Arena Lock. My thought is if you play this in an aggressive deck yourself, right?
Okay.
So you imagine you're going in and you're fighting against another aggressive deck. You play this, and then your opponent clears your board, and then you have initiative, and you just plop this minion down. Or you go in and like you have like a 1/2 token and something else left over from your last turn. You trade them off, and then you play this. I think this actually has more potential in an aggro deck, even though of the way that it's worded, than it does in Reno Lock. I think it has a little bit more potential in...
Okay, in particular, like aggro shaman or warrior? Because like Token Druid, you don't play it, right? So
no, you don't play Token Druid. Maybe Zoo. Probably not Zoo. It's at the power level where you probably won't play it in an aggro deck, but it's maybe card 38, or even 39.
Like Tempo Road.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're not playing things like 2 mana.
You dagger on 2. You play this on 3.
So it's got a lot of potential for a neutral card.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty much almost every class can make use out of it if they want to.
Yeah, so, exactly.
I'm just gonna give it a thumbs up. Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, exactly. Shrieking Shroom, 3 mana, 1/2. At the end of your turn, summon a random 1-cost minion. Huh.
So what do we have? We have the 2 mana totem for Shaman. That's a 0/3 that gets a 1/1. Mm-hmm. That's sort of comparable, but it costs 2 mana. Gets gets Murlocs, which are pretty important.
Yeah. So I don't think that it would see play. I think that you just have that directly better. The thing is, would you want to play a worse version of that in other classes? I don't think the answer is yes.
Yeah. I mean, you might want to play that exact card. So if this card costs 2, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'll play it in Token Druid.
Yeah, exactly. But
it costs 3, so down.
This is one off. 4 mana, 3/4. Battle Cry, reduce the cost of a random weapon in your hand by 2, and it's a dragon.
Yes. So
that's interesting.
Saying this aggro pirate dragon deck.
Hey, that's a good card.
I don't think you even play this card in that deck, but still, keep an eye out for it. Any just aggressive dragons that cost fewer than 5, keep it just look at them and
hey, guess what?
And look at them in awe.
Fiery War Axe will cost 1.
That's just fantastic.
That's crazy. Alrighty. Next card.
So meh.
I'm thumbs down.
You can say thumbs down. I'm just gonna point that out there. Just
so you have the
muddy the water a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Kobold Monk, 4 mana, 3/6. Your hero can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So this is interesting.
It's such an interesting card. I'm not sure how that's going to be useful to for your hero not to be targeted by spells.
So I find this, especially with a Luneth being a mage card, there's going to have the potential where you have a deck that tries to burn you out. And a lot of the times with those decks, they only run just barely enough burn, so that if you heal out with Reno or something, if you heal out with Reno, then they're coming back and trying to hit you. They barely kill you. So if you play this and they have to waste a fireball on this, and then you can play something and everything, I feel that is where you want to play this.
But it's only good against aggro mage.
No, you could go in. Other aggro. You also I would consider it a heal of a 4 mana heal 6 against Reno Priest, unless they have Shadow Word Pain.
Okay, but Reno Priest doesn't really care. They're dealing like 60 damage no matter what.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe like in the mirror or something. I'm not sure. Like, yeah. There's got to be a use for this card, right? It's too interesting not to do something.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't put it. Those are the two things that I thought of when I saw the card.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a meh because we talked about it.
Yeah, exactly. There will be potential for the card, and I bet we see it at some point. These names, man. Mossbinder. Furbolg Mossbinder. 5 mana, 1/1. Transform a friendly minion into a 6/6 elemental.
This card is really bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
This is really the worst of the set. So, yeah, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
All right, so we now have Hungry Etten. It's a 6 mana 4/10 taunt with the battle cry, summon a random 2-cost minion for your opponent. So when I first read this card, I thought it was a death rattle. I was like, wow, this card is OP. But it's not. So I'm sad.
In before you get Doomsayer.
Yeah. I feel like this card is just big enough just to do something, but it also costs 6, so I'm not really sure if it's just absolutely terrible or almost playable.
It borders that line, but I don't think that it's gonna. I don't think there's any situation where you tech this in. So even in standard, like this is when you're talking about something being barely playable, even in standard, you should think about it in wilds. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, still, I've talked about that Hadronox Druid at some point. So
well, to be fair,
are fun.
The Hadronox has some potential. We'll come to that later.
So I'm gonna like slight upturn from full down vote.
Oh yeah, on Hungry Eden, yeah.
There's something about it.
I'm going thumbs down, but
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't really see any use because it is 6 mana. All right, on to the epics.
If it was a death rattle, this card would have been so good.
It would have been good.
It was almost there.
Rummaging Kobold, 3 mana, 1/3. Battlecry, return one of your destroyed weapons to your hand.
That is fancy.
So I feel that this is really like anti-weapon hate, right? So this is like the answer to anti-weapon hate. So if everyone and their mother starts playing Ooze in their deck, and now you can't get your whatever quest, you can't get your weapon off or whatever. So now you can just play this and get that, but your weapon has to be so value filled that you're willing to spend 3 mana to get it back. So
you're saying that Candle Shot isn't an important enough weapon to get it back with this card?
I'm playing Hunter weapon. The Hunter weapon, the 1/1, the 1/3.
Yeah.
If you ooze that weapon right there, I'm moving on to my Eaglehorn bow that I have in that deck as well.
All right. Do any of the weapons actually care that much though? Like which of the legendary weapon actually wants to play this card?
The only one that I feel would do this is Warlock.
Okay.
If you get the Warlock one oozed, I think that that's the deck that you run this in, because your deck centers around that so much. Maybe you play Ascend's Demons, get a bunch of demons to your hand. You play that. Your opponent plays Harrison Jones. You get that weapon back, and then you play it. But that's just really slow. I think this card's way too slow.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give it a thumbs down.
I'm gonna agree. Thumbs down.
All right, Void Ripper is a 3 mana 3/3 demon with the battle cry: swap all attack and health. Swap the attack and health of all other minions. So it's a confuse on a stick.
Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking. I really like this card, especially in the way that Aggro Druid is currently developing. I think you play this in Aggro Druid because you have the what's the 3 mana 1/6 that gains health for every attack?
Crypt Lord.
So Crypt Lord and the 2 mana one that's the 1/5. So those 2 minions, I think, are enough to warrant Void Ripper, seeing as this is like a super crazed alchemist. And most of the time in Aggro Druid, your minions have lower attack than they do health. So a quick flip will go and get that going.
Yeah, it's both a positive for your end and most likely a negative on your opponent's end.
Yeah.
So I really like it in Token Druid.
I think it's good too. Your opponent plays a Doomsayer in on curve on turn 2, and then you just play this down.
Yeah, and it buffs up your 5/1 now, so...
Yeah, so you're just whacking in the face for 5. Yeah, I think this is a thumbs up card. This sees play. This sees play in Token Druid.
As a 1 for me.
Yes. I'm not fitting 2 in, but for a neutral card to do that, I mean, it is an epic though.
Yeah, so I like it. Thumbs up.
Yep. Thumbs up.
Shimmering Courser is a 4 mana 3/3 beast with the text: only you can target this with spells and hero powers. So
it is a beast.
I played a lot of Quest Paladin. I don't like it at all. I don't see what other deck kind of wants this kind of effect.
I don't know. The thing is that you have to make this really large, and then your opponent... That's the only way that you win with this card, right? Because your opponent can't use single target removal on it. Yeah. So you have to go and make it really big, and that's really hard to do. The only thing, I mean, all dino size related combos aside, I feel that this is just a weak card.
Yeah, so thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Arcane Tyrant is a 5-mana 4/4 elemental with a text costs 0 if you've cast spells that cost 5 or more this turn.
This is a good card.
Yeah.
This is a very good card.
People have been sleeping on this. This is a good card.
Yes. This goes into... my first thought is to put this into Ramp Druid.
Mm-hmm.
Because you play one of the big things about Ramp Druid is that you spend your turns... when you spend 5 mana on your Nourish, you typically don't have much else to do during that turn. You're wasting 5 mana. And if you can go and contest the board against aggro while you're ramping, this is incredible. And additionally, if you play a UI and then you just draw all your cards to your hand, it's also nice to sprinkle an occasional Arcane Tyrant or two in.
Yeah, one of the problems with UI is that you almost have too many cards in your hand and you're just trying to dump them as quickly as possible. This is a good card to dump.
Yeah,
and just pretty much any deck that's any Druid deck that isn't Token Druid, you probably play this card. Like almost even Jade. And then pretty much any deck that plays big spells, just put this in.
Like the new adaptation of Reno Mage will most likely play this card.
It's a good card. Yeah, thumbs up.
Yep.
I'm all.
Thumbs up. I might even go with 2 thumbs up on this card.
All right,
this is going to be a very good card.
I like it. You can have the next one.
Cube. 5 mana, 4/6. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion. Death Rattle, summon 2 copies of it. Man, this is strong. Just as an effect, this is very, very strong.
It's so slow, but the payoff is very much there. I really wish it was a 5 mana 5/5 though.
Yeah. You know what? No, you do have to get it killed though.
Yes.
That's the issue.
I just would have liked it for Quest Druid. I'm still on board with that.
Oh, really? That was what you're going for?
Yeah.
I was thinking
just that little bit. Obviously, being able to kill it a little bit easier is somewhat of a good thing, but
yeah, I'm thinking more of this for like Egg Hunter. This finds its place in Egg Hunter as like the top end of their curve.
Mm-hmm. Like this card has a lot going for it. Even like any Fin Paladin, I've talked about that like once or twice already. So there's some more tools for that. So you play your War Leader, you cube it, and then you kill your cube, you kill your War Leaders again, and all of a sudden your Anyfins are already done.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't think about that. That's pretty interesting.
What other applications? Just any Death Rattle minion. So there's lots of N'Zoth decks out there. This goes pretty much in almost all of them. I mean, not really, but still.
Yeah, it's a thought when you play into those decks. It is slow though, but I will give it a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. We've talked about it, and we're like, wow, we like it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so Spiteful Summoners, a 6-mana 4/4 with the battle cry, reveal a spell from your deck, summon a random minion with that same cost.
Yeah, this is one that's puzzling because I don't know.
You have to consistently be able to get it off, right? So like that big spell mage thing, where you don't play where you don't play Frostbolt. At the worst case scenario, you're getting like Arcane Intellect from it. So
no, you cut Arcane Intellect if you're playing that one because of the Raven. Okay. You play that Raven now, and then the Raven is instead for card draw. So
for that deck, do you really want a 4/4 plus let's say a 5/5 for 6 mana in Reno Mage?
Probably not. You probably have better things that you can do.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather have a Meteor than this, and they're both contesting the same mana slot.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna give it a slight edge to play.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with meh. It's there.
Okay. There's something to it. We talked about it for more than 3 sentences, so
yeah, exactly.
That's something.
Quarter Creeper. 7 mana, 5/5. Cost 1 less whenever a minion dies while this is in your hand. So does that discount permeate throughout each turn? So a minion dies and I keep it in my hand, it stays discounted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You don't have to kill 7 minions all in the same turn.
Okay. Wow,
but
this is a good card.
It's very much like original Bolvar.
I disagree. This is better than you can go ahead, but yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly better than old Bolvar, but it just has that feel towards it. Because you have to pay 5 mana for it, and you're like underwhelmed by like sense. This could especially be a free 5/5.
You're breaking up, Poach.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't hear you. All right, you're back.
All right, sweet. So we've been having like this weird power surge thing. So, anywho, Quarter Creeper is way better than Bolvar because it can be free. So Bolvar, you have to pay 5 mana for it, and then you're disappointed by a 7/7. The thing is with this card, you're going like if you kill 5 minions in the same sense that you kill 5 minions with Bolvar, it's a 2 mana 5/5. That's really good. If you get, but you're really happy if you get a free 5/5, 0 mana 5/5. Yep. That's what the shaman one thing from below, right?
Yep.
It's a 0 mana 5/5. Sure, it has taunt, but this is a neutral, so
yeah,
got something going.
What class do you want to run this in, though?
Druid, just Paladin.
Paladin, I think Paladin's the one you want to run it in because you have so many dudes, but. I mean, you run into the issue of there being so much dude synergy already, and like we were arguing if you play the Lion earlier, and I think that this falls in the same spot as the Lion for a card.
Yeah, well, the Lion you have to have your. Am I cut out again?
No, you're there. You're there.
Okay, so for the Lion, you have to actually have all your Silverhand recruits out on the field. For this one, you can kill all of your Silverhand recruits for like a turn or two, and then you can play it just as a free 5/5. So,
yep,
I really like this card. I'm not sure how playable it is. We do have to fiddle around with it because it does have that kind of Bolvar-esque kind of taint to it. But I like it. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
I get the card. I just don't feel that it'll be good enough to be played. I think that you can probably try to sneak it in. So I'm going to give it a meh. I'll give it halfway.
Okay.
All right. Next card. Grand Archivist. Grand Archivist.
Yes.
8 mana, 4/7. At the end of your turn, cast a spell from your deck. Targets chosen randomly.
So if you're playing like the anti-spell hunter deck, where you only play Call of the Wild in your deck, this is a free Call of the Wild.
Yeah.
Plus a 4/7.
But I mean, yeah, that's fair. That was the thought that I had. I was talking with some people about that, but I don't know.
That's the only situation.
That's the only situation where it's really good with Call of the Wild.
And you're getting rid of your mad scientist stuff. It's
oh, and you have to get rid of Animal Companion. So, and the big thing is at the end of your turn, so you don't even get to attack with Huffer. So I don't see anything that really excites me with this card.
Yeah, I'm fine with the downvote.
Thumbs down. All right, Dragon Hatcher, 9 mana, 2/4. At the end of your turn, recruit a dragon. So this, for 9 mana, you're not playing. You don't ever want to play this card as 9 mana. If you have to play this for 9 mana, you're sad. The only time I ever want to play this is if I can cheat it out.
How many different ways are there to cheat it out? So Ancestor's Call, Barnes.
Yeah, one of the other. Well, one of the legendaries coming up is how I would use it.
So that's the most interesting part about it.
Yeah.
So it is like it's like a Yashiraj except 9 mana and weaker stats, but
yes,
it is that kind of Yashiraj kind of effect. So a lot of places where Yashiraj is good, this card's gonna be good.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. I think I give it a halfway. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to make an interesting deck build around it.
There's only one card that makes it good, and we'll get to it.
And we'll get to it soon. So let's go to our neutral legendaries. 3 mana, 2/2.
Finally.
Yeah. Zola the Gorgon. Battle cry, choose a friendly minion, add a golden copy to your hand. So this actually has some... you typically don't ever want to use this as over Youthful Brewmaster. I think that Youthful Brewmaster is strictly better effect-wise than this. Unless you want to have some reason to keep the minion in board, like when you duplicate it like some Blood of the Ancient One. But you do have the ability to add redundancy to decks that run multiple copies of Youthful Brewmaster, and maybe Gadgets and Ferryman in Quest Rogue. So I only feel that this card we'll see play in Quest Rogue.
I think in a lot of decks you do want the minion to stay on board. So even having the one mana effect, 1 mana more than Youthful Brewmaster, and also one fewer attack, just to keep say a 3/3 Kazakis on board, because that 3/3 will trade into another 3/3. So really you're getting a 3 mana Youthful Brewmaster with the effect deal 3 damage. Or 3 mana Youthful Brewmaster with the battle cry, return a minion and summon a 3/3. Like now it's a 5/5.
Yeah. I still don't think. I think that if you're ever playing it for a Kazakis, if you ever really need that, you're playing for value in that situation. Yeah. So I would rather go and be able to get the Brewmaster. I think the Brewmaster is fine in that situation, but
I think it's just I think it's a very much an upgrade from Youthful Brewmaster for those kind of particular decks. Yeah, and also Quest Rogue. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it a meh because I only think you're gonna see it in Quest Rogue, but you do have some good points about that.
Next up is The Darkness, 4 mana 20/20. Memes arise. Starts dormant. Battle cry. Shuffle 3 candles into the enemy deck. When drawn, this awakens.
One question, and I know the answer to this, but I want to put this in my recruit deck that recruits any 4 or less cost minion. Imagine if that pulled out the 20/20. But I know
that'd be so cool.
That would be amazing. But it starts dormant like that, and that's more than useless because it takes up a board spot, and you don't get the candles shuffled in.
They do clarify that the starts dormant isn't part of the battle cry; it's just what the text is to begin with.
Exactly.
So this card does have some potential because Reno Priest is a really good deck, and stopping their Reno stuff is good, but still
you have to float 4 mana essentially. Essentially, you're saying I'm floating 4 mana so that you cannot get your Kazakis, you cannot get your Reno, you cannot get your Raza off until you've drawn 2 candles.
Yeah, that's the thing about this is that they will be able to play their Raza before your Darkness actually comes active.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think that if you stall your opponent off enough so that... I don't think you ever want to see the Darkness get completed. I think you play this only for the effect. So that you turn off the combo. Essentially like in Rogue, how you would play Beneath the Grounds. You're not necessarily playing for the 4/4s. And while the 4/4s are a great advantage, you're playing to shuffle the things into the deck so that you turn off Reno. I think that this is
you are getting something before they actually stop being effective. The Beneath the Grounds. So
yes, that's like true.
So this card definitely has some potential there, right? But what decks actually want to play this? Like just aggro, mid-range control?
I think this would be a control deck that can gain a lot of armor. This is like a druid and a warrior card. Something where your opponent beats you when they can burst you down before you've amassed up enough armor. So you'll go in and they can't start machine gunning you down until, let's say, on average, they'll draw everything, the 2 copies, halfway through the deck, right? You've already started gaining armor at that point, and you're starting to put some distance between them putting damage on you and you out-armoring them.
Yeah, so you're always scared of, from Reno Priest, is not being able to out-armor their damage, so you have to have, like, somewhere around 50 armor, so 80 damage. So if you can guarantee that Reno Priest won't be able to machine gun you down until 10 cards left, now all of a sudden they can only do 60 damage, 80 damage. So
yeah,
it's got something there. I still don't think he'll see play, but I don't Reno Priest is a good deck.
Reno Priest is a good deck, but I think that this does introduce, while limited, some counterplay.
Yes, there's something there.
Yeah, there's potential. I would give it the same, but a little bit more, yeah.
Uptick from meh, so we'll see. Next up, King Togwaggle. 8 mana, 5/5. Swap decks with your opponent. Give them a ransom spell to swap the deck. There's so many memes with this.
This is going to be like meme central. It should be interesting. But the big one that I've heard from everyone is in Control Warrior, where you play Explore Ungoro. Well, here's what you do. You go and you swap decks with your opponent. You play Explore Ungoro that you have in your hand, turn their deck into the cards, and if they ever decide to switch back, you just kill it off with Geist.
Yeah. So it's like an actual ransom. It's like I'm holding this deck.
Exactly. So you go in and just provide removal. You just get a Control Warrior where all you do is have removal and they don't have any win condition. And then you swap decks with them, and if they want to swap back, you just kill them.
Yeah. So fun card. Still not going to see play, but
no, it won't see play. But I'm going to be very excited to watch many videos about it.
Martin the Fox. We've already played this card. Yeah. Something about Reincarnate Shaman.
Yep. I mean, we all experienced this card already, so it was a really cool thing that they did to give us this early. It definitely spiced up the meta for a little bit.
Yes. But it won't see competitive play, so,
Nope. Thumbs down.
Now,
all right.
Finally, this card. We've been alluding to it for so long.
Yes. Master Oakheart.
Ooh.
This is so good. 9 mana, 5/5. Battle Cry, recruit a 1, 2, and a 3 attack minion.
This is so good. They waited so long.
Yeah. This was like the last card, too.
Yeah, and so we have no time to actually creatively think of decks for this card. But
there's so much potential behind this.
Everything. Hadronox is a 3-attack minion. The Void Lord is a 3-attack minion.
That dragon thing is a 2-attack minion. And so basically the thing you want to do is, if you ever have a really big minion that you want to sneak into play that has 1, 2, or 3 attack, you only put that as that specific attack minion in your deck. So it's similar to Keleseth, where you only put 2. That's the only 2-cost minion. Now you have to look at what 3 attack minions you have in your deck.
And you don't really have to if there's like one key card, for example, the 3-attack minion for Void Lord, you don't actually have to do it for the 1 and 2. You can just be like, okay, I'll have the 3, and then this card's so good,
really good.
It's kind of just 2, 3 thumbs up. I don't have a third thumb.
This is a double
Lend
thumbs
me a
up.
thumb, please.
Yeah, I'll borrow one. You give me one. We'll trade thumbs.
This card's so good. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah,
I don't even know what kind of decks to put it in, but it's good.
Yeah, this is going to be meta defining as a card. The thing is that you're going to be able to come up with so many different ways to use this. The big thing is what is going to be the strongest thing to use this with?
Yes. So like at one attack you have all of those tar things. So you have tar, creeper, tar, lord, tar something else. At 3 attack we said like void, lord, and Hydronox. I still don't even know what else there is, but there's so much.
Yeah. But the
like,
big
you just
thing
need to go.
Is that it is 9 mana, so you have to wait till turn 9 to play this. But still, that getting this effect out and being able to tutor these cards directly to the battlefield is totally worth it.
Yes. I still don't know what kind of decks are going to see play with it, but it's too good of an effect. I just want to go to my collection and look up 1 attack, 2 attack, and 3 attack minions.
Yeah, exactly. Should be good.
Man. They ended it on a doozy, man.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
So good. Why did they wait so long to print this to show this card? That's my only gripe with it.
Did they show this in the reveal stream?
No.
They put this in the Facebook. They put this in the Facebook post. Then
it was the last card of the Facebook.
So this is the sleeper card. You have the people who don't. Oh man, that's gonna be really funny. They wanted to include 1 sleeper in the Facebook post. They actually had a couple really good ones in the Facebook post this year.
Yeah, absolutely. But this card was the real sleeper of it all, because you think every legendary in that you fully expect to be terrible. But then they had this gem, this
guy,
sweet one. Anyway,
yeah, sure. Let's wrap this up. This was a pretty good review of Kobolds and Catacombs. I'm Danny Donuts, and we have Poach. And that was our opinion of these cards. We're really excited to see the expansion come out, and we will be getting the results of how the meta shapes coming to you afterwards. So we're really excited. Any last words, Poach, before we head out?
Oh, they should have made the beast, the 4 mana 3/6 a beast. So close. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a good time. How long did we go for? This is a long time.
Well, including the first bit, because it's like 5 hours.
Something like that. Well, the first hour and a half or so was canceled. My computer crashed on that. But But
we're fine now.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's a wrap. See you all later.